truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, start offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's new.
Wow. Papa's got a brand new eye.
Hi, Matthew. It's Judge Janine. And
Well, thanks, Judge. Oh, really appreciate it. That was a quick intro. Thanks, Judge. Oh, I gotta hit the button.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. $300 is on the board for donations tonight. Come one, come all, thedumbshow.com/donate. Carrie Spricks won the jacket last night. In case you didn't hear, congratulations on winning the last jacket of February. We'll be starting the drawing again next Friday, so get in with 25 in it to win it. If you want to get some coffee, some shirts, some hats, whatever, you can also go to thedumbshow.com. We are 5-star rated, Diamond Transparency Award. What does that mean? Well, actually, it means that we are in the top 0.01% of all retailers on the internet. No, it's true. Go look at it. Go look what the Diamond Transparency means. It means every single review that we have is authenticated by actual customers. We have one of the highest scores in retail. We're running a 4.98, and the only reason is because two of our elderly fans thought one was the best score. So I still haven't been able to figure out how to get them to do it. We're thinking of going to their house with a silencer and ski masks and handing them a phone and saying, give us 5. But right now we're at 4.98, whatever. So go on over there and do that. You may notice that there's some people over here to our whatever, while you're viewing our left. This is Jack. This is Mandy Del Rio. And they are going to be joining us tonight for the Don't Unfriend Me show for the third time, I believe. Is this the third time, y'all? Oh, I have them muted because they were talking during the intro and they were put in the corner. Nobody puts bait.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Sorry
That's
about that.
probably me.
But third time, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you. What's really funny is that we were doing AI because Barry is one of your best friends and you guys don't have headshots and we're really kind of confused, but that doesn't really matter. It's another question at another time. So I'm like, hey, can you guys throw me a couple headshots? And they gave me a couple headshots and I was like, oh, well, these are fine. We'll throw them into AI and we'll make something a little bit better. So Olivia walks in and she's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm making headshots for Jack and Mandy. I want them to look like really professional and stuff. And I thought I would do something nice for him. And she's like, how about that? Let me take a look. And so the first one spits out and I'm like, put them in various scenes and it sticks them in Paris. So what I was going to do was like, put it up there and be like, Beautiful shot, guys. Olivia and I think this is one of your best you've ever got. Thanks for sending it to us. You're like, where the hell is this from? I'm like, the photograph from Paris. We got it on the internet. You're like, we haven't been to Paris. What the hell are they talking?
That's awesome.
But alas, Mandy saw it and she's like, oh, that's wonderful. I hate her. She doesn't even look like me. So.
Yeah, he's so trying to steal my man. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Well, of course, we were also talking that Jack, no matter what I put into AI, no matter how shitty the picture was, it literally looked exactly like you every single time. Yeah. And Mandy and I are sitting here tweaking it. She's like sending me stuff from preschool and she's like, try this photo, and I'm trying to stuff them in there, and AI's like, this does not compute. And it's like, all right, listen, I want you to start over and make her completely different. And then she comes out looking like Woody Woodpecker. And I'm just like, all right, this is stupid. This is stupid. Anyway, listen, fascism in America. We've heard a lot about this. We talked about this last time, the back half of the year when you guys were on. Walk us through it. We understand obviously what it means, but no, it's not fascism. It's Marxism. Excuse me. Yeah, Marxism in America. Sorry, I've been listening to liberals too long. But anyway,
we've been doing it all day too, so
Marxism, fascism. Anyway, so tell us about Marxism in America, what we're going to be hearing. I had a chance to watch it. I just turned off everything. I put it on the 4-screen and it's exceptional. And I think people are really going to like it. Walk us through it and tell us all about it.
Sure. Basically what Marxism in America is about, it's oppressed versus oppressor. And it's showing how the cultural Marxists are trying to change America forever. And it's through indoctrination, it's through manufactured injustices, and it's all because they want to remake America in their vision, in their Marxist view. And, it's kind of scary that they're teaching kids this crap, you have, especially when you start talking about intersectionality, for example, which is part of cultural Marxism, that you have, or I should say critical race theory, excuse me. It's all encompassed under the same umbrella, but intersectionality is pretty scary. I mean, they're teaching kids at school that the white heterosexual male is like the top dog. Okay, that's it. You're the head of the class. Okay. Now, if you're a woman, a white woman, let's say, you're not the top of the class because you're a woman. So you're a victim.
And you can't even figure out how to get ID.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we're the only ones that can. The white heterosexual guys. We're the only ones that know anything. Then it goes even beyond that when you're talking about black men. Now they're victims because of racism. And then we break it down in the documentary. When you get down to a black lesbian, they're apparently superpower victim because of race, gender, and because of their sexual preference. So it's a little scary that this is the crap that they're, and the thing is, what's funny is when you tell this to just the average person that doesn't have any clue, they're looking at you like, no way, but it's completely true. I mean, this is really happening, and it's all about driving that wedge. It's all divide and conquer. And the thing was, so this was one that we were pitching to Newsmax for a couple of years. And finally, Chris Ruddy, the CEO over there, he finally greenlit it. And it was just one of those that we did this doc years ago called Socialism in America. And we were showing the comparisons between China and the US. And the one thing that struck me when we did that doc was China's cultural revolution from, I believe, 1966 to 76. And it basically was Mao indoctrinated the youth there to essentially do his dirty work. And that's what we're seeing here in America right now with this indoctrination with our kids from the radical left and the teachers unions. And they're essentially going out and creating the chaos that the left needs to thrive.
Mandy, what type of research did y'all do for this? Did Newsmax have a vision or did they give you a topic, or was it that you guys kind of created this? This was your brainchild and then brought it to, brought it to them over and over. I've had walking death the last like 6 days, so feeling much
Don't
better.
worry. I just got over it.
We're getting
Yeah.
through it,
I
so,
know.
yeah.
For
For this-
Chinese. Go ahead.
I know.
Yeah, no, this is definitely one that I believe we pitched this to Chris Reddy, and I mean they're all aligned with us, so they completely, they pitch up stuff to us, we pitch stuff to them, and it inevitably goes. Chris greenlights it. So the research on this, we did a lot. I wasn't as familiar with like intersectionality and I knew about the DEI stuff, but we did so much research on this subject when we did socialism in America. So it wasn't completely, and I've known about that as well. So it wasn't completely new, but the diversity, equity, and inclusion is, we did kind of a deeper dive on that. And I just, I always learn a lot with all of these docs, but it's just interesting too to see the parallels between the Chinese Cultural Revolution too, because I'm more familiar with the former Soviet Union and Russia and the history there. I didn't know as much about the history in China, and I think it's insane the stuff that we learned and I learned in particular. Jack knows. Jack's like a walking encyclopedia. He tends to know like
not really
a lot, but I didn't realize how brutal the Chinese Cultural Revolution was, to the point where they were ripping people apart, and like literally ripping them apart. And it's just terrifying how much power. How I can't even word it right, but it was terrifying to me what you can do to young people, and you can push them, you can brainwash them, and we're just seeing that too much right now, to the point where I can't even go on Twitter now without seeing blatant anti-Semitism.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it's not just, what's scary is it's not just on the left, it's also on the right.
Right.
But the whole point is these people are so brainwashed, and you can see, okay, well now I'm kind of understanding how that happened in China. Now I'm kind of understanding how that happened in Germany, Hitler's Germany. It's crazy what you can do to people who are easily manipulated, or that's the only thing I can think of. It's the youth, and it's the mentally fragile. So anyway, there was a lot of research, as usual, all of our docs, there's tons of research, but it was interesting.
Where do you think the Japanese learned it in WW2? And the Japanese and the Viet Cong, surprisingly enough, spent a lot of time in multiple wars, and Japan has faced China and kicked the living bejesus out of China every time they have. But the barbarism that the Imperial Japan had is that they were one of the most ruthless regimes. But what's hilarious is that the Chinese didn't teach the Japanese, or vice versa, or the Vietnamese. Actually, the English. The English were also one of the most barbaristic, quartering people, removing heads, and doing horrible things. The night of Prima Nocta, it's just horrible what the English and most empires do. And most empires, whether it be the Ottoman or you want to go into China and you want to go to the Ming Dynasty or before that, we understand that they oppress people. But it's, if you look at the Vietnamese, Japanese, and Chinese, they have done some of the most brutal things to people. It's also interesting when you try to tie it all together for people, because people don't understand that there are differences between Marxists, Leninists, socialists, progressive, communists, nihilists, which is probably the one thread that ties all of these things together, whether it be DEI, white fragility, whether it's toxic masculinity, unconscious bias, is nihilism, which is that there is no objective truth.
Right.
There's no such thing as objective truth. And to me, I think, the difference between objective truth and subjective is that, and for people who don't understand it, who are listening, is subjective. Basically, if you have to interpret it through your own eyes or the eyes of a person in order to prove its existence, that's subjective. Objective means it happens whether you believe in it or not. So for instance, people are like, well, there's no such thing. And it's like, well, God. And they're like, no, you have to believe in God. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give you that. How about that the earth goes around the sun?
Right.
Whether you believe in that or not, that's true. Well, it really depends because we're a flat earth. And you're okay. And then you just realize that there's a retarded truth and these people really believe it.
Yeah.
So, but when you guys understand is that you must first have nihilistic beliefs in order to embrace communism, Marxism, fascism, is you have to believe that there's no repercussions for your actions, that there is no morality that's objective, and everything is all based on interpretation. Do you feel that you guys got that in 22 minutes, or do you think you need to have a part 2 and 3 of that show?
We probably need a part 20 of those, to properly get it. But we kind of touched on it, how, the cultural Marxists, they want to destroy the church. They want to destroy the nuclear family. I mean, it's, so, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, no. I mean, we didn't hit every aspect of it. But we did touch on it in our bullet point way of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's great. And I think you did. I think the point of the documentary, in my opinion, is it at least scratches the surface to get people interested. And that should be the ultimate goal, is to have them pick it up and start researching. What do we need to know about this before we watch it that'll kind of help people, who might not have the full time to really lock in? What do you want them to take away from this?
That it's happening here, and and we do show that comparison with China's Cultural Revolution. And look, in China, like Mandy was saying, I mean, they were tearing people apart. They were cannibalizing people. They were killing, landlords and people with, capitalists and all that. That's not happening here yet. And, a big part of that obviously is 2A, which is a different discussion. But this is almost like a warning. That's what I want people to take away from this. Going into this is, I think we did it in a way where you're going to see the eerie similarities between a brutal communist regime in China and how they manipulated kids to take it to that level of murdering people. And, I don't know, did I misspeak? I mean, look what happened to Charlie Kirk. How many assassination attempts have there been on Donald Trump now? So I might have actually misspoke. We're kind of getting in that window now. So anyway, this film serves as a warning.
I think so. And one more thing, if I could just add to that, I think that we really have to emphasize how voting has, at least we are a democracy here. There are consequences to voting. Luckily, we are not under a dictatorship, not yet. We're not. So voting definitely, I think that people need to understand, not just on the national scale, but locally, there are consequences to how you vote locally. Just like, look what happened in New York City with Mamdani.
Right.
So I think that that's part of the takeaway also, is how can we fix this? How can we prevent it from happening? And like Jack said, it's a warning, but at least here we do have the power to reject this.
Right.
It's just people need to be informed about where this can go.
Yeah.
Did you guys get a chance to participate in your labor camp re-educational snow shoveling process up in New York? Did Barry invite you guys up there?
No.
It's supposed to be very therapeutic if you guys figured out how to get ID. I don't imagine you're smart enough to get ID, but
no, absolutely not.
Well, you're kind of a white male, so I mean, not.
I was gonna say, I don't know. He's Cuban.
I know.
He's got brown. He's got. Oh, you got to dye. You've got brown eyes, but you're kind of white. You know what I mean? So you're not blonde hair. Well, dark brown and blue eyes. I am the prototypical German. So I'm gonna be fine when Donald Trump takes over and starts killing everybody. I cannot wait for this. It's.
I know. And people actually believe that.
I'm gonna. Oh wait, this isn't true. Oh shit. Oh wait a second. Mask slippage. Sorry. about that. I'm trying to get Olivia's papers. I'm like trying to. The problem is she looks Mexican, Italian, and Jewish. She's screwed. So she's, welcome to the show.
Bummer.
They wonder like, why hasn't Matt's show got big yet? I don't know. It couldn't possibly be. All right, let's watch it. I'm excited. Liv, did you have something you wanted to ask?
Carrie had a question.
Oh yeah, Carrie had one. Go ahead.
Do you think the over-medication for depression and anxiety contributes to the brainwashing? It's a good question.
100%. I mean, what was it? I read an article recently that said that I think it's like 56% of liberal women have some sort of mental illness that they're being medicated for.
Yeah,
so,
psychotropic drug. Yep.
Yeah, so it's scary, but I mean, look, I almost feel like the Dems have weaponized mental illness.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
it's literally like the Dark Knight. You know, the Joker's army, if you remember, he just emptied out an insane asylum, and that was his army in Gotham. So how crazy. I mean, to me, that's kind of what they're doing.
They're preying on mentally ill people.
Absolutely.
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
It was a Joker. It was a Joker. So it was just a beautiful segue for me to play a soundbite.
Perfect.
It's
Is that
really,
the Jack Nicholson Joker?
No, that was Heath Ledger.
No, that was Heath Ledger.
No. Mandra. It's Heath Ledger. Jack is more like, look at all these wonderful toys.
No, yeah.
And Ledger is like, it's all part of the plan. There's a difference between the two.
Gotcha.
I'm just kidding. I'm in a good mood. You know, it's been a great, I mean, when you feel
you're
better,
finally feeling better.
When you feel better, you're just kind of like, I'm just going to have a good time and let caution be thrown to the wind. FCC is going to knock on the door. No, it's absolutely Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger, but that's the Heath Ledger segment of it's all part of a plan. But that's what everyone said about Trump, right? No matter what Trump did, it's like, he's going to win the election and just trust the plan. I'm like, okay. And then he lost. And he's like, he meant to lose. Trust the plan. I'm like, he meant to lose. What do you mean he meant to lose? You know, he has a military tribunal set up and he's going to arrest everybody and put them in Guantanamo. And I'm like, okay. He's like, it's all part of the plan. I'm like, okay. And then it's like 3 years later and he's ready to run again. And I'm like, is this part of the plan too? Because it's been 3 years and our inflation's at 9.5%. Just trust the plan. Trust it. You know, that's the way it was. So when you talk about mental health, and I think it's really important to understand is when they say, you know, 56% of the women are on psychotropic medication or having some sort of, you know, mind altering medication to take. This, without sounding like a sexist pig, I'm not trying to when I say this, but there were places throughout history where limitations were put on people who weren't married. And specifically, women weren't able to actually accumulate and take on debt if they were married. Do you guys know this?
I didn't know.
Where
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. So if you were married, you actually had to allow the male to be responsible for any incurred debt. Now, single women could go and get any loans that they wanted to. Any loans they wanted to. But when married, the bank wouldn't do that and allow them to incur debt. It had to be, if they were married, it had to be a joint account, had to be together with man and woman. And they felt because by having both take ownership of the debt through the man of the household, who probably was going to be the net earner, that they would probably have more success. Now, something changed, and we know what changed. Feminism changed, and we went to allowing anyone to incur debt and have separate bank accounts. And all of this kind of created this debt to America. And if you look at women, not only are 56% on drugs, but if you take a look at the amount of bankruptcies, if you take a look about how many single women are under debt to their eyeballs because of their secondary education and liberal arts and things to that effect, they become susceptible. They become vulnerable because they are slaves to the system. And they're told that the reason they're slaves to the system is because of Republicans and because of Donald Trump. So when Carrie talks about that, it's a really hell of a point not to go back and say that, you know, repealing 19th Amendment or, you know, feminism should never have happened. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you should be very, very careful with enslaving the people financially because then they become susceptible to really crazy extremist ideas of how to get out from underneath that debt.
Right.
That's a great point. Great
Yeah.
point. You know, and you know what though? There's plenty of crazy guys on the left too. We didn't even touch on that. Yeah, you know. But
oh yeah. Oh, no, like yes, but also with respect, I only see women out there marching and out there screaming. And people are like, well, no, there's men out there. I'm like, no, they're not. Those aren't men. Those are those are effeminate males who pee sitting down and smell of soy.
It's true.
It's true. So true, man.
I'm just saying.
I know.
So just something to think about.
They're women, though. How are those even women? They don't act like, they don't behave like ladies. That's for sure.
People wonder why the birth rate's down like 30% year over year and decade over decade and half century over half century is because what's the appealing option? I mean, it is a prey mantis relationship, no matter how appealing the sex may be, which is what it really kind of takes to get a relationship started is intimacy or lust, one of the two. Both are equal, they can generate love. But when someone literally is going to eat your brain while you're sleeping because they resent you and hate you, it's kind of hard to have a meaningful relationship. You know what I mean?
So true. So true.
So people are like, is this the new Matt? Yeah, no, this is the one I was talking about. The guy who's just going to speak his mind and not really give a shit and just be honest because it's the truth. And, we've got to start actually calling it out. We've got to say how stupid some of these things are and how ridiculous and that there's nothing wrong with a patriarchal and matriarchal society. There's nothing wrong with a man and a woman. There's nothing wrong with marriage and kids and family. It's what made our country where we were. I mean, let's get
traditional values. Yeah.
All right, we ready?
Yes.
That's like a totally different. I just said, don't get me started about women's lib. I won't go down that rabbit hole. But maybe that's another show where we could sit here and talk about how horrible it's been.
Let's do it. No, like that's what this is about. It if the video will be played, and honestly, I'll carry us into 2 hours. I love talking to you too. You too. Oh, we love you too. So we like to joke around. Go ahead,
Before
Libby.
we go any further, you need to put up the window. It didn't pop up.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, Anonymous just donated and said, thank you, Olivia and Matt, for hosting. And thank you, Mandy and Jack, for sharing. That was our anonymous donor.
And that was a hundo. So thank you so much with a C note opening the show. Thank you, Anonymous. That's right.
Thank you.
Well, your son and daughter will be returned unharmed. So let's get into it. Women's lib, like first wave, second wave of feminism. Let's do a pulse check. First wave of feminism was ultimately suffrage, was ultimately representation of equal pay, was representation of vote. Needed or not needed?
I think it's fine.
Needed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think I think they had a legit bitch. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
that's fair.
Second wave of feminism was a little bit more liberation of if I want to burn my bra, shave my legs or armpits, I can. Was a little bit more excessive. I don't need men to necessarily define who I am. We like men, but I kind of want to be freer of that. But I also don't want to be touched in the workplace and have my ass grabbed. So there's
fine. Right.
Yeah. If you break it down, I think there are some good things that came from that. And then there's some really detrimental, horrible things that came from it.
Yeah, like latchkey kids.
You can't. Oh my God.
Get him, Mandy. Go.
I think that my mother was very traditional. She couldn't stand the whole bra burning, hippie crap. She really wanted to just stay home, take care of the kids. My dad would work. My dad wanted that too. I grew up in a traditional house for the most part. And she would always complain and say, women's lib didn't do a damn thing for me except make my life harder. Because once you get into they basically made it so that you couldn't choose to stay home. That's not really giving women a choice. You know, if you're pushing women to go out in the workforce, they were obnoxious about it. You weren't a real woman. You know, you don't need your husband and your kids making you a slave in your household. So you have to go out there and work. And they would basically shame women who didn't want to do that. And how is that liberating to women who feel like their work is their home and their children, which we all know is work? It infuriates me because of the domino effect that happened because of that. And again, you know, my grandmothers both worked. One of my grandmas was a beautician. She worked part-time. The other one was a full-time administrator in hospitals. And, you know, it's not like they weren't told they weren't allowed to work. That is such a myth. That is such a ridiculous myth that women back in the 30s, 40s, 50s didn't have to work. Some of them did work, but yeah, they need to be treated. I believe women need to be treated different because we are different from men, but equal. What's wrong with that? Like, yeah. I love the difference of men and women.
Yeah.
I think I embrace our differences, but that doesn't mean that we're males, but we're also not, and men aren't beneath us either. It's just, I feel like it's gone so far the other way due to the second wave feminism.
Yeah. And like you said, the second wave, it's like, I get it. You go to work, you don't want, no guy should be putting his hands on a woman at work. Okay. I mean, I totally get that. Okay. But this whole thing, the whole.
Oh no.
It's okay. They got a hiccup. They're going to be okay. Mandy went and looked at it. It's coming back. It's coming back. I had a really good joke too. So we definitely have to get them shit.
Oh no.
They'll call. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Well, they'll be back. Or they won't. I really hope they do it because it's a great conversation. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the third and fourth wave. I mean, they just tore the second wave apart. Third and fourth wave is going to get even worse. Folks, we're waiting for Jack and Mandy. If you have not had a chance, we've started off the show, right? dumbshow.com/donate. You want to help out the show, help it grow, help it be successful. If it's your first time here, you can hit like, share, and subscribe. That means a great deal to us. We've got quite a few people on right now, and we would love to see you guys hit that share and like button. Great to see people on YouTube. I feel like Romper Room. I spy YouTube. I spy Facebook. I spy Rumble. We also have some need to be sharing over on Twitter, so if you could do that.
Yeah, we can actually share the show on Twitter now. Super exciting.
Barry's says, need me and Shelly to sub. Sure. I mean, I think they're going to come back, but you guys can come in here too. We don't care. We would love to have it. It would be better if you guys were actually over at our house since you've been invited like 700 times, Barry. But anyway. Do you think they're trying to figure it out?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Mandy's using her feminism to overrule him? He's like, listen, we just needed to turn the power button on. And she's like, that's not the power button. Like, yes, it is. It says power. It doesn't say power. Yes, it does. It says power. He said, go get a flashlight. I don't have a flashlight, but it says power. No, it doesn't. Why are you being like your father? That's usually the way that conversation goes, but it's me doing that. I'm the one that's causing the problems. Usually you're right about that type of stuff.
I know.
You're humble too. That's also something we love. Do we have? Oh, we have some updates. Can we give some people some updates on ACK? Oh. We can't get back on. Oh no. Well, hold on. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Hold on. It's okay. Take your time. Restarting computer.
Restart the camper.
Restart the camper. She's like, we got to go restart the camper. Why? Matt said so. I don't know. Well, it's all the way down the block. We got to go do it. Go get the keys. It's okay. Take your time restarting your computer. We will wait. Okay, so that's what. And then watch this.
What are you gonna do to him? Jeez, you're horrible.
I really like them. I really do. Like, I think some of our coolest friends are Shelly, Barry, and Mandy and Jack. So this is what I did to them. I said, it's okay. Take your time restarting the computer. We will wait. And then like 3 seconds later, hurry up.
All right. So updates on guests.
This is incredible. Like, we are, right?
Yes. We are booking left and right. So of course, Mandy will be back next Wednesday with Paul Carafort's. He'll be talking about his new Charlie's Bubbles book.
And Paul was in Sopranos. He was a big piece in Sopranos, was also in a couple of other TV shows.
He's in the Tulsa King regularly, too.
Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, so he's very well known.
Bring a tissue for that one because of what the new book is about. So bring tissues. Then the following week, somebody reached out to us today, and I talked to him.
This is insane.
His name is Brad Kohler. He is an ex-UFC fighter, and he's running for governor of Minnesota.
No shit. Governor of Minnesota as an independent.
So he is coming on the 9th of March.
Yeah.
So he'll be then. We have Jessica Lynch coming on the 31st.
Jessica
of
Lynch.
Which is awesome because the 1st of April is the anniversary of her rescue. Yeah. So it's like perfect timing. And then I have, we're still trying to get Philip Hamilton back in. Since we had the walking death in our household, we decided he probably doesn't want to come into that. So we had to reschedule. So as soon as I hear from him, we'll get him rescheduled. And then I have 2 other people that I need to get booked as well. So we are.
And then you forgot.
Who?
Mandy says, sorry, oh my God, restarting.
Who?
It's not Bethany, is it? And Adam and why do I keep forgetting her name?
Oh yeah, I need to book them. I haven't booked them yet. Totally.
Well, me not remembering their name and you not booking them, that's not a very good thing.
Yeah, totally.
And don't we have another guy? Don't we have another guy whose his son or something?
Yeah, that's one of the people I talked to.
Dude, you guys, we're like almost booked out till April.
Yeah, so I totally forgot. Yes, Bethany and Adam.
We may have to start doing more than once a week. If it keeps getting it's getting popped, people are starting to contact us, and Olivia's just killing it. Can I just say it? She is like killing it.
Ad button here.
You guys, if you want me to look at people, just tell them to come on. That's easier.
Yeah,
because we can't researching people. Go ahead, Liv.
At this point, we can't research people. So saying, hey, check this person on Facebook, or sending us a screenshot of their Facebook page, unfortunately, it doesn't work. We need phone number or an email, or you need to give them our information and they reach out to us. But unfortunately, it's just too hard to find that. I'm unfortunately too busy with my day job as well as the show. It's getting busier.
But if this keeps up, she's going to have to quit her day job. Because we're starting to get busy. Hey, there's a real important person you forgot too. I mean, the studio that we're sitting in here, the name of the person.
I totally forgot they're coming. It's not on my list.
Blank.
Yes, I know it's not on
the
my list.
The namesake of the studio.
It's not on my list
because we can't name it like the Chuck and Bobby and Mel and Deirdre and CJ and JD and I can just go down everybody. I wish we could, but we picked Chuck because because the cancer. I mean, he played the cancer card. What do you want me to do? Had to do it.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Chuck and Kathleen are actually going to be in town.
Chuck and Kathleen are going to be in-house.
In-house, and probably going to go to dinner.
Oh, we're going to dinner. I'm charging them a shit ton after what they did with me with that guy up north.
And they're going to be in-house for that night. So we're super excited to finally meet.
We're back. Sorry, guys. I swear to God, I didn't touch anything.
What were we saying about women having equal rights, man?
It's the first thing I said. Do you think she's arguing with him about where the power button is?
She reached for something. I think.
reached for my water. I didn't touch
it. We're going back to 1919, man. That's it.
So I had a really good joke set up too, and you were going off and doing great. Livia, of course, go ahead and call this one.
Andrew Bryant, wanna ask the question? What? Want to ask the guests a question? Yes, you may ask the guests a question.
You wrote it. You just typed it in.
I copy and paste it.
Okay, so you coffee and paste it.
I haven't been drinking. I swear
I mean,
to God.
seriously,
This is water.
do you have we too many martinis?
Apparently, the water. They must have spiked the water in Round Hill or something.
All right.
I don't know.
Anyway, okay, so I had a joke, and then I'm going to go and move on from it. But what I was going to say is, when you were talking about burning a bras, I was going to say, did you realize that when the whole burning a bra event happened, that self-immolation in blondes went up 3,000%?
I believe it.
I believe it.
That's
They
not even
set it on fire while they're in it. Come on, it's a blonde joke. So, so then the third wave of feminism ultimately was.
I don't even know. Yeah.
Oh, I do.
Like,
I do. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It was men hating.
Right.
That we are equal to men, and we don't need men to define us. We don't want men to define us. We don't need you to define us. Was the third wave, and then fourth wave was we're better than men.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even realize there was a fourth wave.
Yeah, we
There
always
is.
say third wave.
Yeah.
But
We're in it right now. We're
Okay.
in it. We're
Gotcha.
in it right now. Unfortunately, so
it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
it is. Well, let's do this. Mandy, did you want to finish your thought that you had before you sabotaged the computer?
No, I was just ranting. I mean, you guys pretty much. I think we all see eye to eye on that.
Yeah.
I do. I do. Just type it, Drew. Yeah, it's okay. Just type in your question, and we'll do that real quick. And then we'll play the movie, and I want to watch it. Fourth wave, I thought, was pro-trans stuff. No, I mean, because they're not women. It's all mixed into it. But listen, the fourth wave is absolutely women are superior to men in every way. The women's push is to dehumanize women and turn women and subjugate them to a materialistic piece in order to take away their humanity, which is I can put lipstick on and now I'm equivalent to a woman. I mean, it literally brings us back to wave zero, which was women are secondary afterthoughts and materialistically owned. Yeah.
And men can just do whatever they want, and that's okay. They can come into your locker room. They can, go into your shower with you. Apparently, they can play your sports. They can take over everything that makes us women. They could just take it over. I mean, that's
what I'm saying. Anything goes. It's crazy.
I don't understand what liberal women don't understand.
They could borrow your shoes and not give them back. Bastards.
Right.
Please, no, not the shoes.
Olivia's like, wait a second. That's where I draw the line. That's it.
Not
no
my
more.
Shoes.
Not touching my shoes. I tell you what. If you touch the shoes, don't touch the shoes. All right. What's the question, Drew? Sometime before Marxism in America Part 2 comes out. I'm in a great mood. I really am. I'm really in a good mood. All right. Chuck says, doing great, still fighting the battle, but I have great doctors. Thank you for caring. Listen, Chuck would want me to treat him like anyone else, and I'm not going to let cancer not have me make fun of him and joke around. So he's a warrior. He's a trooper. Look at him. He's on a motorbike. I mean, he's more of a man than he'll ever be. So Chuck's going to be out here, and it's really exciting. There's several people who are going to be coming out from the show who've been here for a long time. So it's exciting to see so many fans come on out. Drew, Liv, you want to read this out? Can you read that?
Oh, wow. It's not popping up for some
I'll
reason.
go. Black Panther Party and Black National Workers Party have been trying to gain mass for workers' revolution for 50 years with no success. When and whom directed the intersectionalism? I don't think we're on Jeopardy. What's the question? I don't understand, Drew. I mean, can I take a daily double for 500? I don't understand. What are you asking them? How about we do this? Rephrase the question with a question mark and help me understand, because I don't know. It's more of a statement, right?
I mean, if he's asking who actually created the phrase intersectionality, we talk about that in the doc, that it's Kimberly Crenshaw, and she's also the one that basically coined the phrase for critical race theory, if that's what his question is.
That is true. I don't know, but I think we just need to. I think he wrote it real fast because he's trying to get in
Who
before
made the decision to merge with LGBTQ?
Perfect. Who made the decision to merge with LGBTQ? And I think you're going to find the answer to this really interesting, Drew. Do you want to go ahead and give it?
Me?
Jack or Mandy?
Oh, I was like,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's never been improved. In fact, the LGBT community is repudiating transgenderism, queerness, BLM, and Antifa. They're not. I mean, the LGBT community is extremely lucky. There's a lot of tension between Black coalition groups and LGB, and the reason why, and Black coalition groups have actually some reasons, and NAACP, Rainbow Coalition, et cetera, even the Black Panthers, they've been trying to find acceptance for 400 years. And gay and lesbians just come in here and they're like, we're here, we're queer. And everyone's like, oh, you're so cute. And Black people are like, what the f- is going on? How did that take them 25 years to have beer cans and have parades for them? You know, we're being strung up in trees and what?
Yeah.
And it's, you look at, you know, when hate crime came around, and then the Matthew Shepard case, which at the time we all thought was about homosexuality. It wasn't. It was a drug deal gone bad. And homosexuality had nothing to do with it. So a lot of that tension is there in the community. But the moment that transgender came in and start dignifying their actions toward women, and then started accepting different groups like minor attracted persons and pedophilia. That's what the plus stand for. The LGBT community has repudiated it. It's not the same from 1971 Boulder, Colorado, Rainbow Coors can. I think all of us as Christians, we had our time, we had our struggles, and we got to a place different than abortion, where we made an agreement and said, listen, just don't push it down our throats. Don't try to convert our kids, and don't. And then abortion had. Right. And honestly, the LGBT community did not do that. This is the other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is totally different.
Yeah. So,
but they're using, they also are using it. And that's also goes into Marxism. It's what they do. It's how they sell it to you.
It's all indoctrination.
And, it's sick.
Sorry. I didn't hear that last part. Can you say it again?
Yeah, I just said it's sick what they're doing. It's sick how they're using the LGBTQ community to say that they're all one and the same. Well, they're not. They're absolutely not. And that's why you have amazing groups like Gays Against Groomers,
right?
Who I've actually had conversations with in before you did this doc. We actually, we're talking with them about stories and stuff, because we really wanted to get into that whole thing about the indoctrination of the trans, I call it the transgender. It's
right. Ooh, that's good. That's good. I'm going to coin that.
Yeah. I really wanted, I was hoping we could do an entire doc about it. But this is one aspect we do address. We sort of address it, but not really, but
the attempted indoctrination.
No, not that, but just the transgender. I guess we did kind of touch in what happened to one of the personal stories in that documentary. That's where it was heading. It was heading towards the school converting a girl into a boy, basically.
They were socially indoctrinating her,
right.
Yeah.
Socially.
If their parents didn't get a hold of a handle on it, it would have gone really bad.
Right.
It's really interesting that you guys are just like sparking the areas of creativity in the brain here tonight. So I'm thinking about it, and I always hear people like, especially transgenders, and when you look at, kids story hour with cross-dressers and transvestites, and I go, and you hear them say, listen, we're not coming after your kids. We're not trying to change your kids. And I said, just now in my brain, I'm like, well, when you play make-believe, who else would you go after?
Right.
Because seriously, because that's your audience. I mean, who else wants to play make believe? Like, they're pirates and astronauts, and then who wants to also dress up sometimes when they're younger, and sisters dress their brothers up like girls, or they make a joke and they wear a swimsuit or something, or girls go ahead and dress up like a hobo male. These are the things. I mean, I had women who went as Lando Calrissian because Colt 45, baby, he was badass back then. And so if you live make believe for a living, why would you exclude that audience? Because they're the only ones that are going to play the game with you and believe you. And it's a really interesting, and it's it's a double whammy. Not only do you get to go ahead and preach your message to the young and the impressionable, but somehow you look like a good Samaritan doing it in your eyes and saying, we just want to read them books.
Sure. You notice they're not doing that in VFWs, right?
Yeah, or going to black prisons and, predominantly black prisons in Lompoc, California. Like, we're just going to do story hour.
Yeah,
Or in convalescent homes.
Or what?
Convalescent homes.
Right. Going to the elderly and playing bingo. I'm just going to play bingo with grandma and grandpa.
Right. Because they're not the future. They want those kids because that's the future.
I think there's also a predatorial.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's a grooming for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And grandma and grandpa will probably throw their tapioca at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like boo them out of the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hit him over the head with a quilt.
Right. Stab him with a crochet hook. The Shady Acres resort today had 7 homicides as the transgender coalition of rainbows decided to frequent the establishment. One person went ahead and had to swallow 75 Scrabble tiles. God. Jeez Louise. Anyway, listen, let's watch this. I'm really excited. I know people are too. CJ Jenkins donated $10. Sorry I gave Barry the rest of the donation. Ordered the book, hoping to see some sweaty guys. Well, you'll see that in that book for sure. And I'm glad you bought the book. It also puts you in the running to go and do a tactical course with Tonto. If you guys don't know this, right now, if you go over to Barry's book, if you buy Barry's book right now, not only is he going to sign it, he will go ahead and you'll be entered into a drawing with Chris Tonto Peranto, who and he said it himself. He's like, he even said that our interview was just as good as Sean Ryan. And I literally had to listen to that over and over again, and I had to put it on slow motion, and I got into a real quiet, dark place, and I just had some alone time when he said it. So anyway, you can be entered with Chris Tonto Peranto and go fire guns with the guy from Benghazi. And I think he'll probably even have some Hillary Clinton targets there for you guys to hit or two. So go do it and have a good time. It'll be awesome. Yeah. So
that's so cool. And the book is a beautiful.
The book's amazing. Barry's book.
That book.
Oh, it's amazing.
And we love Barry.
We have it right on our coffee table.
Yes.
Okay. People are going to think that we're owned by Barry. So let's not. There's enough rumors of that anyway. So it's like, oh, and did we say what a nice guy Barry was and how handsome he is? Give me my $7,000. I'm ready. Give me my schmeckles. We love him so much. We love him so much. All right, let's watch this. I'm ready. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Marxism is in America, and this is an amazing, amazing documentary. I hope you guys enjoy it. They worked so very hard on it. Let's watch it together. We're going to watch it live so you can get our reactions. And JD says, Matt, did you bring your tissues when listening to that over and over? Why do you think we're out of tissues in the house? So we don't have any tissues left. It's over. Olivia's like, well, is it because you were sick? I'm like, yes, sick. Sick. Yes, I was unhealthy. Here it is.
Cultural Marxism seeks to destroy any allegiance to God, any allegiance to family, to anything other than the all-powerful state.
They believe America is bad and needs to be taken down.
The cultural Marxists are working on seizing power.
Hitler said it. Lenin said it. Give me a child for a few years, I will own the future of that nation.
The school district had socially transitioned our daughter.
The cultural Marxists see law enforcement as the oppressors and criminals as the oppressed.
If our system had better bail reform, my son would be alive.
We need to undo what the cultural Marxists have done to society, because if we don't, we could lose our freedom.
Dude, I could literally build a show around the intro. You know what I mean? So well done. Yeah. You know, it's really, it's fantastic. And Steve, and this is the only time I'm going to interrupt. Steve Jobs made this point. If you can't literally define exactly what you're trying to say in your presentation with one line of words on one blank slide with white lettering and black background, then stop, scrap it, and start over completely. So the fact that you guys do that I absolutely love. 3 words, and it is just on a flat background that says it's going to be good automatically. All right, let's watch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
lawlessness in our streets, cancel culture shutting down our free speech, critical race theory poisoning our schools. Marxism has infiltrated our country, and America is under siege.
There is a victimhood culture in America today. It's engendered by this new rigid ideology that we have that sees all of life through the prism of the oppressors versus the oppressed. And this victim mindset is being pushed by the cultural Marxist. Cultural Marxism is an attack on America.
The cultural Marxists understand you have to get into the culture, reshape the culture, reshape how people think before you're going to actually bring about revolutionary change.
If you look at how cultural Marxism spread, it began in the universities. Then we saw it go to K through 12 education. From there, we saw it spread to journalism. From there, it went to big business and then big tech. We see the politicization and the weaponization of each of these institutions inherent in the view of the cultural Marxist. The victim is justified in violence, in horror, and atrocities because overturning the oppression in the system is the ultimate goal of the cultural Marxist.
And one of the ways to overturn this oppression is being implemented by what is called critical race theory, which was created in 1989. It begins in law schools. Critical race theory is just a body of work that says that racism is not an individual crime. It says it's embedded in society. All the things we do are sending out this message of white supremacy.
And when critical race theory was sort of emerging, came along this concept of intersectionality. And the idea was you can have one identity being your race, another identity being your sexuality, another identity being your gender. How do these things intersect with each other to make one person more, let's say, downtrodden?
This is finding the new quote-unquote victim classes, whether you're gay, whether you're lesbian, whether you are a person of color, whether you're transgender. This was generated to create new cleavage lines that the left could exploit.
Intersectionality is the victimhood Olympics. A white male heterosexual sits at the apex of the oppressor class. Now, if you are a black man, you are oppressed because you are a victim of racism.
If you are a woman, you are oppressed because you are the victim of patriarchy. But if you're a black woman, you're oppressed even more because you are the victim of racism and you're also a victim of the patriarchy.
But actually, it's a lot more fluid than that because Jews, who have been one of the most oppressed, victimized groups, are now seen as an uber oppressor class.
Stupid.
And the Palestinians seen as the oppressed.
You pigs, animals, Nazis!
And that explains why when October 7th happened, horrible murders and rapes and atrocities happened. We're seeing the student uprisings in support of Hamas. We're seeing anti-Semitism in the left wing of the Democrat Party.
We are witnessing the Israeli apartheid government carry out a genocide in Gaza.
And these radical beliefs don't stop there. The cultural Marxists see law enforcement as the oppressors and criminals as the oppressed. So they push to abolish cash bail, prisons, and even police at the expense of public safety.
This is typical Marxist ideology, always divide and conquer.
And if you look at Marxist revolutions all over the world, whether in Cuba, whether in Russia, whether in China, they start with people who are young and idealistic and passionate, but they also have limited world experience, so they don't have wisdom.
Chairman Mao did this in China during the Cultural Revolution to maintain power. He was losing control of the party. So he wanted to overthrow the whole system, burn it down, and build it back in his own image. He had tens of millions of young people indoctrinated in government school who become his soldiers, the Red Guards. They were the ones who's going to carry out the revolution. What happened in China under Mao is very, very similar to what happened in America. The young people have been indoctrinated by Marxist ideology.
Hitler said it, Lenin said it. Give me a child for a few years, I will own the future of that nation. Because if you can separate the child from the parent, there is no obstacle to controlling the future.
Whether it's anti-Semitism, abolishing cash bail, or transitioning children, The ultimate goal of the cultural Marxists is power.
Our daughter was born extremely premature. She fit.
Take a second there, and just a question: when you do this, do you guys go do all the filming? Do you go and interview everybody? And do you? I mean, you obviously lay the sound, the editing, and the slides, but as far as piecing it together and creating the frame boards and all of that for the documentary, who does that? Is that y'all?
That's us. Yeah,
Wow.
it's our fingerprints are literally on every frame on this. We shoot all the interviews. Mandy will find the majority of the pictures and the footage.
We have our crew.
And then we have, that's I was leading up to that. Yeah. So Chris Martini is our DP, great guy. He's also a director in his own right. And then, we have our story editor, which is Brian McNulty. He's amazing at helping keep the story straight for us. But yeah, it's a whole group team. Carl George does our graphics, and then we have, our sound designer, our color timer, and all that. But yeah, it's a small team, man. And every picture, every video, we've touched everything.
And
Where can people
puts the story together? I have to say, you give everybody else. You say what everybody else did, but Jack is the one that actually puts the story together. He writes the treatments for these. He completely, he comes up with all the interview questions, and then he puts the story together based on all of the interviews. It's crazy how he's able to keep everything in order, because we just shoot endless interviews, and he's able to piece, every single segment together. So, and then, like you said, we both do the B-roll and the pictures. Like he definitely does that too. So
thank you.
Gotta give yourself.
I know.
There would be a dog without.
I played. You know what? I played football, and it's when the team sucks, the quarterback takes all the blame. When the team wins, team effort. So it just comes natural.
Yeah, and then if you're Team Canada, you go ahead and blame everybody but yourselves. So here's the couple questions. First of all, have you guys met T.S. Dixon, the author? All right, so I'm gonna give you a formal introduction, because whenever you do your next documentary, you're gonna want TS on there. Like, this,
I know the name. That's why I was kind of struggling for a second. Yeah.
He's been on this show. He wrote The Woke Mind Viruses. It's the book that's behind Olivia right now.
Okay.
And he's a very good friend. But this guy, I mean, not only will he take you through the last 400 years, but he'll bring it back to Da Vinci and Nietzsche and Plato and Socrates, and how Catholic Church overall, was trying to be replaced by the scientific movement, and because with the replace of religion, you had to fill it with something else. So what was it going to be? And of course, science was the answer. So right. You can't just steal religion from the masses. It's not like the Egyptians where you can cut their tongues out and no longer allow them to read and write. Right. Society had moved forward too far and progressed. So how do you do it? It's just simply replace it. And this is where a lot of the things we're talking about originated from. So I want to introduce you to him. He's really great. And the second thing is, where can people watch this? How can they help you through this process based upon this? Because people are asking, like, how do we watch this? How do we contribute? How do we help?
Oh yeah, no, great. And so Newsmax, they play our docs all the time. And they play them for years, okay, which is great. But if you go to the Newsmax app, right, that's what we were looking at today. It was the Newsmax app. Like if you go on Newsmax Plus on Roku, you can find the Newsfront series, which Mandy and I are showrunners on. I write every episode, I direct them. Mandy and I co-executive produce them. They can go right there, find the Newsfront series. You could like binge the whole series. Okay. We've done about 8 episodes so far. Plus, we have 6 other docs on there that we've done. So there's about 14 of our documentaries in total on the Newsmax Plus app.
Great. Make sure we'll do that. Folks, do me a favor, hit the like, share, subscribe. We're 160 to goal. We have, I think that math would scream 140 left if my George Bush math is up. We're watching Marxism in America and with Jack Mandy Del Rio. Now, do you guys go by your different names, or can I say Del Rio, or is it not Del Rio? Is it, I mean, what last name do you take when you're being introduced, or do I have to introduce you separately?
Oh, you go by what? Del Rio? Del Rio Smith? I have no idea.
Smith,
she likes the name Del Rio because it is a cool name.
So is it?
That's
what okay, so it's okay. I'm just trying to I'm figuring out when people introduce you, is it your names, or is it full, like when people they would introduce us as the Spears. How the hell are we introducing you if we were to do that?
Just the Smiths. Yeah, just the Smiths.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing is, for me, the reason why I'm the 3-name guy is because of my name. I mean, I was Jack Smith, so it's like I had to put my middle name in there just so if people ever Googled me or whatever, they could actually find me. So Mandy's a different story.
You weren't emulating Hillary Rodham Clinton? No? No.
I was, but I'll never admit that to anyone. Well, just now, I just came out.
Me too.
I just had my Hillary coming out moment.
Oh God, I feel so dirty. Folks, hit that like and share. We need it. More people need to be watching this right now. It's great that we've got almost sub 200 watching, but we want to get this thing up higher. So let's get going. This will be replayed crazy. I mean, last night's show we had like 6,500 and wound up ending up at like 25 within 24 hours. So we're obviously getting some. That's not great, but it's good enough. We'll take it. But get this thing shared. That's how you do it. All right, let's watch the rest of this Marxism in America from the Smiths. A very original name that nobody else has. So there it is.
In the palm of my hand, I just remember the doctor telling us that there was no reason that she survived beyond just being a miracle. As she started to grow up, she loved arts, loved to sing and music and dance around.
We live in Rockford, Michigan, and our daughter went to East Rockford Middle School. She was really struggling to fit in. She was struggling emotionally, academically. Our daughter had been diagnosed with autism earlier that year. She got connected with her counselor there through school. She looked to this counselor as a trusted person, and I trusted her. My husband brought home a report where teachers give their overview of our daughter.
And one of the teachers was referring to a boy's name and boy's pronouns. This is how we found out that the school was, in fact, socially transitioning our daughter.
My son Jackson was a spitfire. He was full of life, full of energy. He loved wrestling. He loved superheroes. He loved baseball so much. If there was a sport that he could pick to play all the time, it was baseball.
All right. Jackson and his older brother were best friends. Our boys were constantly in the backyard hitting or pitching or that sort of thing. Tucker and Jackson both played for a club baseball team in our area in Wisconsin called the Waukesha Blazers. And every year the baseball club marched in the Waukesha Christmas Parade.
November 21st, 2021, I was walking with the boys as an assistant coach in the Christmas parade.
And out of nowhere, we heard screams. And I remember seeing bodies flying up in the air as a man who was out on really low bail for violent crimes drove his car into the parade.
I ran out to go look for my boys. First thing I see is Jackson's jersey. There's number 23 on the ground. And I look over and I see Tucker's on the ground too. So both my boys were hit.
The cultural Marxists have promoted a worldview that says America is bad and it needs to be changed. It needs to be destroyed. The existing system needs to go.
And they're willing to achieve this goal by any means possible.
Man.
The cultural Marxists hate free speech. If you disagree, they will punish you. They want to take away certainly the Second Amendment because they hate a populace that can defend itself. Take a look at an organization like Black Lives Matter. It was founded by avowed Marxists.
My name is Patrice Cullors. I am the co-founder of Black Lives Matter. I do believe
and I've got
Marxism.
7 houses.
It wants to abolish private property. It wants to end free enterprise. And it wants to end the nuclear family.
In 2020, Black Lives Matter was front and center during the George Floyd protests. Thousands of people across the country took to the streets saying, We are fundamentally racist. Let's tear down our history. Let's tear down our statues. Let's tear down our country because it's irreparably bad and we have to rebuild something new. How did we get here?
If you go back to Karl Marx when he wrote the Communist Manifesto, he laid out a view of the world that was a conflict between the owners of capital, who were the oppressors, and the working men and women. And the solution that he advocated was the violent revolution of the working men and women against their oppressors.
The classic Marxism was first realized in Russia. They used violence, they used military forces to overthrow a sitting government. And Mao succeeded in doing the same thing in 1949 in China.
In the United States, the student radicals of the 1960s, like the Weather Underground, begin all this terroristic activities, but they realize that they're not going to revolutionize America that way. They begin to be influenced by cultural Marxists. Antonio Gramsci, he was active intellectually in the 20s and 30s.
Gramsci argued that violence is not going to bring about the socialist revolution that they all wanted. He actually argued for what he called the war of position.
So student radicals realize they can take over universities, they can take over Hollywood, they take over media.
Please welcome Desmond Napoles, a.k.a. Desmond is amazing.
But by doing this, they influence young minds. Kimberly Crenshaw, who came up with the term critical race theory and invented intersectionality, says we need to do what Gramsci said, infiltrate the institutions, burrow in, and indoctrinate.
When Fidel Castro took over in Cuba, he sent his soldiers into the elementary schools. And they told the little children, close your eyes and pray to God and ask for candy. And the kids all did so, and they opened their eyes, and there was no candy. Then the soldiers told the children, pray to Fidel Castro for candy. And the kids all did so. And the soldiers quietly put a piece of candy on every child's desk.
This story is so good.
It is based on lies, and it seeks to destroy any allegiance to God, any allegiance to family, to anything other than the all-powerful state.
Here in America, how do you get control of a whole generation? You have to have indoctrination over years in elementary school, in middle school, in high school. So the epicenter of this infection are the left-wing controlled teacher unions.
The teachers' unions today are the most powerful economic supporters and the most powerful foot soldiers of the Democrat Party. And the teachers' unions are in the business of indoctrination. The National Education Association put out a statement embracing critical race theory that we will teach it even when states prohibit us from doing so.
Randi Weingarten is the president of the American Federation of Teachers. She has a history of far-left political rhetoric.
America has been better for certain groups. White males, straight people, non-Catholic.
And a Hillary and Saul Alinsky non-apologist.
Right.
Her and Hillary Clinton both wrote the thesis on Saul Alinsky and the Saul Alinsky playbook. So they're cut from the same cloth.
White Christians. They've always enjoyed certain privileges.
The teachers' unions are very supportive of this whole Marxist view.
Then those kids who've been indoctrinated into this radical ideology are the ones that are then going on into the corporations, into the media, into the culture, into government, into the teachers' unions. And this whole cycle keeps feeding itself.
In Mao's China, the children belong to the party. And also, Chairman Mao was our real father. The beginning of the Cultural Revolution was cancel culture, destroys statues, burning books, and intimidating people. I was too young to be a Red Guard, and I witnessed little kids attack teachers. They killed those deemed to be capitalist. Landowners, property owners, they were the enemy of the state. The people killing each other. I absolutely see this coming to America, because the young social justice warriors, they are celebrating violence.
Audrey Hale, who identified as a transgender man, killed 3 adults and 3 children at a private Christian school.
2 young staffers of the Israeli embassy were shot last night by a man who was shouting "Free Palestine."
Cultural Marxism is a thoroughly and profoundly anti-American philosophy, and its objective is a violent revolution to overthrow those oppressors and to put instead the victims in charge.
So we have this hard copy of a plan to help our daughters succeed academically and emotionally. And we're reading a section that just didn't make sense. Male pronouns, a male name.
So we met with the principal. Unfortunately, his response was, this is all correct. We were all aware of it, and this is the policy that we must follow. The school district had socially transitioned our daughter, was treating her one way at school while portraying something completely different when communicating with my wife and I.
They're lying to us, breaking down the trust between my husband and I and our daughter.
And you're going to steal my rights as a parent to make these choices for my daughter? I was angry, and I'm still angry.
Tucker and Jackson were hit by the car that drove through the Christmas parade. There were so many casualties. It was chaos. It was complete and utter chaos. Tucker had a severe crack in his skull and brain bleed, and by a miracle, he survived.
The neurosurgeon told us that Jackson's injuries were to the extent they're the worst he had ever seen in 20 years.
They did so many different surgeries to try to save his life. Jackson officially passed away on November 23rd. We later found out that the man who attacked the parade was out on low bail for violent crimes and should have never been on the street. And because of that decision, over 60 people were injured and 6 people died.
Seeing Tucker deal with the aftermath, I think, is the hardest. His lifetime play partner is gone. Losing Jackson, it's hard. There's times where it physically hurts.
It's a hole, it's an absence. Jackson didn't just die, he was ripped from our lives.
The cultural Marxists, they view America as inherently an evil place. They view our founding as an act of evil and oppression. When it comes to the Marxist worldview of oppressor versus victim, Americans are defined as oppressors.
The cultural Marxists want to fundamentally change America. They do not want us to have a free market system. They want to make the rules. They want to be the privileged class and to oppress everybody else.
The cultural Marxists have embraced diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is critical race theory in practice by many businesses and companies. So we're going to have to be very careful every time we enter a tunnel in New York City or cross a bridge or get on a plane if the architects and engineers and pilots have not been chosen on merit, but because they check some category box. It's going to have very bad results.
And then you have ESG. Under the guise of ESG, a public company must place environmentalism, diversity, and equity above efficiency, innovation, and excellence. It serves the purposes of the left.
Marxists have taken over the Democrats. We have now a Democrat Party that has surrendered to the extremists.
Many people still think that it's the Democratic Party of their youth, the one that stood up for the everyday American. That is not who they are anymore.
Nope.
They are total elitists, and they want to see our country completely revamped and rewritten.
There is a reason that today's Democrat Party is so pro-China, because the people who fund and support the Democrats, big business, big tech, big Hollywood, and big universities are all in bed with China.
If you look at what happened to China, the Cultural Revolution lasted from 1966 until 1976 when Mao died. And what was the result of that Cultural Revolution? It is a society totally destroyed. People at each other's throat. We live in extreme poverty. 20-some million people died, and our civilization of 3,000 years was destroyed. I think Americans should pay special attention because we can learn from history.
I have such a fundamental belief in the principles that undergird this nation and in the American people.
Across the country, we've seen parents getting engaged and taking school board elections back.
And please stop the sexual grooming of our children.
Protect our children or get out of the way.
If you look at Disney and Bud Light and Target, those three corporations together lost tens of billions of dollars because they put their woke ideology ahead of the interest of their customers.
And ever since President Trump's victory in 2024, Companies are now abandoning their DEI policies.
Deere is pulling back from DEI measures.
Lowe's is the latest company to roll back DEI.
But we need to stay vigilant. We need to reject companies that promote a woke agenda. We need to be active in our local school boards. And we need to vote, because the left will never give up.
It was wrong what Rockford did to our family, to our daughter. They took our rights away. They were driving a wedge between us as her parents.
So we notified the school that we were pulling our daughter out and homeschooling. It was like pulling her out of a cult. It was difficult, but we've come a ways since we first pulled her out of school. And we're in a good place with her. She knows that she is a girl. She knows this is how God made her. We decided to file a lawsuit against Rockford Public Schools and the Rockford School Board. Alliance Defending Freedom was brought as a gift from God to us, absolutely, 100%, I believe that. Because we felt like we had no place else to turn and we had no one else to listen to us.
I want to make sure this doesn't happen anymore to any other family or any other children.
There were thousands of people there at Jackson's funeral. It was an amazing tribute to Jackson.
We had asked all of the kids to wear baseball jerseys to his service. That took off and became a whole thing, which was pretty amazing.
During the trial, we were just looking for a sense of motive or empathy.
No. It was just, wah, I'm a victim, poor me.
Court gave this man life in prison, but justice is too late.
If our legal system wouldn't have let him walk out on low bail and would have done their job in the first place, I'd be home with Jackson.
So we started the Jackson Sparks Foundation to honor him. As if a child loses a parent or has a critical illness, we grant them wishes that are baseball related, because Jackson loved baseball.
I miss his smile, I miss his giggle, I miss his hugs. I miss his spirit and what he brought to our house and our family.
I miss his life, his energy. I miss it. I miss him a lot.
The cultural Marxists have indoctrinated whole generations to be un-American.
Their goal is to destroy our nation from within.
The cultural Marxists are working on seizing power.
Indoctrination is central to how the cultural Marxists enforce their wildly unpopular views.
We need to undo what they have done to society, and many, many Americans are doing that.
The only thing that's really going to solve this is if we have this rekindling of love and appreciation for this country and all the good that has come about as a result of the American system.
Of course they didn't.
Of course they didn't.
Of course not, right?
Wow. Yeah, I want to get quick reactions. I just want to put a nice little bow on that. Joseph Guillotine in the French Revolution came up with the concept of having a quick and easy way to disengage somebody's head from their neck. And went ahead and employed an architectural designer who I believe was Louis, maybe, I don't remember his last name, Louis something. And it's French. That's basically like saying John Smith or Jack Smith in this case. And they created the guillotine, fairly inexpensive, using plowshares and other rope and channeled wood to create these, at minimum, 8 to 10 foot drops, depending upon the size of the blade, to subsequently take a head from neck. And during the French Revolution, which they would rise up against and remove the oppressors from government based upon these same ideologies, the revolutionaries took the counter-revolutionaries and subsequently beheaded all of them. But that wasn't good enough for the revolutionaries. And they started taking some of the people within their revolution who they also used for nefarious means to get to a point A to point B, but had no intention of sharing the spoils. So they beheaded them too. And as a final coup de grace to the whole piece de la résistance took Joseph Guillotine and removed his head from his own device that he came up with. So if you ever want to understand Marxism, if you ever want to understand their means is a utopian society that is impossible to achieve because there will always be people with free thought. And we were granted that by God. And it's not something they have the ability to remove, no matter how much you go ahead and inundate them with whatever you want. People's natural ability is males want to procreate, women want to go ahead and raise children and have family. These are the natural inherent things in the animal kingdom. And they also, humans, which separates us from the animals, is we have free will and the difference between right and wrong. This is the thing we're fighting now. Olivia, I would love to get your thoughts on what Jack and Mandy created. I wanted to thank both of you for this. It's an amazing tribute to a very difficult topic that should be a 10-part miniseries because there's so much to cover. But Liv?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very, very powerful. The one part that resonated with me, probably because it's personal experience, was the whole school counselor thing. And short story is when Hayden was in seventh grade. She was going through some problems. So she decided to talk to her counselor, and he pretty much befriended her and said, "You can trust me." So she started telling him stuff. Not only was he kind of the ringleader of the whole CPS debacle, which that's another story we'll have to tell you.
They don't know about that story.
So we'll get into that in a minute. But Hayden, her cousin, my brother's daughter, had a rough upbringing, and Hayden and her are very, very close. So she would share some stuff with Hayden, and Hayden would share that with the school counselor, thinking that it was all good. Well, my niece lives in North Dakota. This counselor took it upon himself to track her down and call her school and put an alert on her. And we had no idea until my brother called me and said, "What the F? What is going on?" And we're like, we have no idea. So we finally get down to it, and we had a meeting with counselor and the principal and the vice principal and said, "This is way out of line." I said, why does he still have a job? And from that point on, he was not allowed to talk to our daughter unless there was somebody else in the room. And he is still at that school, and he is now our son's counselor. And he's not allowed to talk to my son either. But it's just amazing how school officials think they can cross that boundary. What are you doing calling another school district about somebody that doesn't live in your state? It just blows my mind. But
oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh my God,
that's horrible.
That's the subtle.
That's
the small.
subtle one.
That's the small and subtle one. Quickly, just to put you guys in the right mind frame for this and why this means so much to us, if it's okay, because this is your show and we want people to hear from you, and I think we've had a chance to do that. Is about how many years ago? 3
and a half now.
So my daughter, my son, we were always close, and they had to go through my addiction, and it was habitual and medically necessary at the time, but it wound up supplementing my feelings and the euphoria that takes place from opioid drugs. It unfortunately replaces your dopamine levels and your serotonin, and without it, you can't function.
Right.
And so habitual turned to addiction. And it was a massive struggle for me. And one day I looked at myself. I was 260 pounds. I was 51% body fat. I couldn't lift anything. I couldn't do a push-up to save your life. And I was a former version of myself, and been through 16 different back surgeries and spinal cord stimulators and discectomies and infusions, and no matter what. And I finally just had a friend of mine call, and who I served with and worked with on the teams, and He just said, dude, I saw a picture of you on Facebook. I haven't seen you in 12 years, and you rang the effing bell on life and hung up on me.
Wow.
And I was like, well, screw you. You know, so I called him back. I said, what the, how dare you talk to me that way? I don't care if you, tread water for 30 minutes and you jumped out of planes and you have a 0 sight picture. Go fuck yourself. You know what? And I was so mad. And he's like, you can't even make it up my driveway, and hung up.
Wow.
And I was so pissed. And I started looking at myself and I was like, I used that anger and I just flushed it down the toilet, right? I just got rid of it. And I stopped cold turkey, which was the dumbest thing I could do. I was at 480 milligrams a day. I was taking 14 or 15 pills. I was on the Heath Ledger cocktail.
Right.
And I got rid of it. And I went through detox myself. Nope, it's $37,000 in California for rehab. You can't afford that. So I did it myself in my bedroom. 2 months later, I came out of the bedroom. I came out at like 192 pounds. Then I went back in and came back out up to 265. Again, my body went through literally shedding 60 pounds, putting 60 pounds back on. And I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. And I finally just came out of the room one day and I could function. And did a push-up. And then got on the treadmill for 11 seconds. And then did it for 2. And, did it for 22 seconds. Did 2 push-ups. And then, 7-8 years later, I won't even take an Advil and can squat 350 and bench and work out constantly. It was changing my mind. But the reason I tell you a story is because before or after that, we decided to move to Virginia during COVID. And it was a really stressful time. The relationship between our family went from going to Disneyland and going to Houston Astro games to literally be locked in a house for 2 years and my kids not being able to go to school. And it just became a very sociable life to missing everything about Texas. And my daughter spiraled into it. Do you want to go ahead and take it from this part?
Sure. So she had a very close relationship with Matthew's sister. And Matthew's sister is a very manipulative person. She cannot have kids. And so I think she took it upon herself at some point when our children were small, that at one point they were going to be her children. And I think she groomed Hayden for her entire life. And they came out one summer in July to visit her and her husband, and said, "Oh, we want to see everyone. We want to see everyone."
Gone
and
for those 2 days. We're here for maybe 30 minutes, and otherwise grabbed the kids, took them out for 12, 14 hours a day, then came back and went to bed. And no interaction with us.
See him.
And very strange because we were very, very close and very, very tight.
I was very, very close with her.
So very strange for us. We're like, what is going on? This is really strange. We don't know what's going on. We know Hayden's having a problem. We know we have punished her. We know that there's been spankings for both kids at times and very stern punishment for what they've done, whether it be stealing a credit card, going into a store and using money, going over to a friend's house and stealing the money out of their house. I mean, things that these kids would know never to do. There was a very large rebellious stage that was fueled by COVID and the teachers online, and we didn't understand what was taking place. Go ahead.
So at this time, Hayden had just turned 12, Ethan had just turned 9, and they asked us, they had the kids come ask us, can we go back to California with Aunt and Uncle for 2 weeks by ourselves? And at first my thought was no. They're not going to fly by themselves.
COVID, no.
So finally we talked and we're like, you know what? We need to let them go. They're old enough. So
maybe it'll be good for them and help Hayden.
Maybe it'll be good for them, get out of the house a little bit, go have some fun, go get spoiled. Okay. So for 2 weeks, they spoiled them rotten. Took them to baseball games, took them to concerts, bought
Jelly
them everything
Belly Factory.
in the work, let them eat anything they wanted to, which, okay, great. But she also let Hayden pretty much dress like a whore. and dressed up a 12-year-old to look like she was 25.
Yeah, for sure.
And I saw pictures. I was like, no, I was so mad.
Mini skirt, boots.
Yeah, but
halter top that's way too tight. I mean, like I saw the picture and I was like,
no,
what the is going on?
Yeah. So, well, that entire 2 weeks, they were grooming them against us.
And let me jump on this one. And basically, Hayden and Ethan were telling them stories, and Hayden had texted multiple times, the aunt, and over 2 years, and basically said, I'm unhappy and I hate my life and my dad's an asshole and they abuse me and they do this and do this, and typical teenage stuff, perception of what parents are. But the aunt saw it as an opportunity to get them alone and start planting seeds of child protective services, start planting seeds of taking photographs and documenting when things take place, hurting herself and then taking photos and blaming on parents.
Boy.
Real bad shit. Real bad shit. So we'll zoom this up. You guys aren't here to sit here and hear about our life story, but it's interesting because I
don't mind some.
Yeah.
So at that point, all of that's taking place. And they separate. She continues to communicate. Now, the instructions are, you need to get photograph evidence and collect it and send it to me, and I'll take care of the rest. At this time, my sister has called CPS between 200 and some odd times and is working with the Virginia CPS from California. And they are starting introductions to CPS. And she gets instructions. You need to go to the school and you need to make a formal complaint. And then you need to make sure Ethan feels the same way. And he has the same story. So have him work on his story and make sure that he's reciting these same things. So she goes in, makes a complaint. CPS starts interviewing, takes pictures of the children, naked, fully naked.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. And CPS photographs the children with alleged marks and whatever. The previous night, and this is, I think it had been 7 or 8 months before my son had received a spanking. He's received maybe 5 spankings his entire life. My daughter maybe had 6 in her entire life. Right. And we're talking open hand spankings or a belt over underwear or diaper. And so my son had stolen like 7 cheese sticks, mozzarella cheese sticks, and eaten them all and stuffed them in the couch. And some of them were still in there. We found it. I'm like, dude, you can't do this. You can't eat like this. You need to stop doing this. And we gave him the law. We just had to talk with him. Well, then the next day we found 4 applesauces under there and pouches. So this was repetitive behavior, and he got a spanking, right? So he got 4 little licks of Dad's belt, and I can tell you this, it was absolutely benign. He goes upstairs, and daughter takes photographs.
Wow.
Now, what they don't know about our kids is that we all have dermatographia, and dermatographia means skin writing, and that means if you just take your finger lightly, just drag it lightly across the top of your skin, you get a giant red mark, and my kids have it too. So of course, any contact from belt, he's got marks. So that's when they go to school next day and they start taking photographs of his butt, and there's no marks. There's nothing in these photos. Later helps us in court. At that point, it's the afternoon, and I'm downstairs playing video games with Olivia, and we're just sitting there and we're just talking and shooting shit. And the alarm goes off. The little, Vivint tells us, hey, someone's in your driveway, because we're doing the podcast at this time, and we have been going after ruthlessly the LCPS, which is the school system here, for the abuse of the parent who the child came in who was transgender and raped the young lady in the bathroom, and then moved that kid to another school, and it happened again. I think it was Alexandria, and then beat the shit out of him when he went to the town hall to say something, and the cops beat the shit out of him. We were exposing a lot of that.
Yeah. We talked to him. Yeah.
Okay, so It's an afternoon, and I see a squad car, and then I see a Civic, and I look at Olivia and I say, someone's going to jail, and it's probably me. So do me a favor, guns up on the kitchen counter, go put that in the other room, and stand behind me. Don't let them see you, but stand in the hallway, and just listen to what we're going to say. But someone's going to jail, and it's probably me. So I answer the door, and there is a plainclothes officer who is 6'7", so they obviously know my build and my size. Later, did we find out in the CPS report, there was a lot of information in there of why they were worried. So detective goes, are you Matthew Spear? I say, yes, sir, I am. And what can I do for you? And he goes, well, can you step outside for a second? I said, sure. So I did, closed the door, and he goes, listen, we have some questions. We're wondering if you want to come downtown with us. And I said, no, I don't. And he goes, are you refusing? I said, no. You asked me if I wanted to, and the answer is no, I don't. But what do you need? And we can talk here. And they said, well, we can't. But at this point, we need to talk to you. We need to have a conversation with you. And I said, am I under arrest? He goes, yes, you are. I said, okay. And I looked over Olivia, and I said, Olivia, call our lawyer. And they went ahead and they put me in cuffs. No warrant. And of course, there wasn't any deep questioning. They took me down to the station, drove me to Percival, 25 minutes away. At that exact moment, in that civilian car besides the detective, Olivia will pick up the story.
Was the CPS person that the sister has been talking to for the last few months. And
this gets bad.
She was horrible. Like, she immediately comes up, was like, you know, we need to talk. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, where can we talk? Can we go inside? I said, no, we can talk out here. And I kept her outside for a good 30 minutes. And then she keeps asking, can we go inside? And I said, no, we can't go inside. I said, no. And she gets her supervisor on the phone. And I talked to the supervisor, and the supervisor says, you need to let her inside. And I said, no, I don't. You don't need to come in my house. We're having a conversation out here. It's not going to be any different in the house. And then she says, I will take your children if you do not let her in the house. And I said, you can't do that. And she goes, yes, I can. Let her in the house, or we're taking your kids right now. So of course I'm like, done, get in the house, whatever. And for 2.5 hours, she just grills me. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm stunned. I'm like, what are you guys even talking about? And I'm a mess. I've been crying. I worried about Matt. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I think they're going to take the kids. And so they have me sign this document that states that Matt can't come back in the house. They don't give me a copy. They don't do anything. And they leave. So this is where you continue.
So at that point, I show up to the Percival Police Department, and I'm in the squad car, and I look at the guy and I say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation with you throughout this thing. I just need to know, is this felonious? And he goes, why would you ask? And I said, well, it's important for me to know. If this is a misdemeanor, then I'm going to go ahead and, you know, take whatever medicine I need. But if this is felonious, I need to be aware before walking in and having a conversation with a detective. So, lawyer. That's what I say. And he's like, well, there's a time for that. And I said, the time is now. And
right.
Yeah.
And so they take me into the detective's room. And you understand, I've worked with cops my whole life. I worked as a master at arms for a little bit in the military. My uncle was a homicide detective. I know the law. And I'm not one of those people that are like doghouse lawyers. I'm not an ostentatious dick about it. So I'm just honest. And the detective comes in, and I'm in handcuffs. I'm sitting behind my back. And he walks in, and he goes, Mr. Spear, how are you today? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, I'd shake your hand, but unfortunately, you guys still have me in cuffs and think I'm somehow a threat. And he says, well, we're just going to leave him on for a second. And I said, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I outweigh you by 60 pounds and I'm almost a foot taller than you, huh?
Right.
And he goes, probably. I said, okay, well, that's fine. At least you're honest. He sat down, and he had 2 giant files. And when I say files, I'm talking like this big.
Oh, my God.
And he's like, Mr. Spear. And I said, yeah. He's like, I'm going to tell you some stories, and I'd like you to go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are. And I said, lawyer.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, why would you need a lawyer? And I said, why would you put me in handcuffs? Probably for the same reason. And he goes, Mr. Spear, I just want to have a conversation and clear this up. And I said, yeah, and I don't want to self-incriminate. So here's what I need you to do and say it for the camera, that this conversation that we have is without a lawyer. I've requested one, and I'm willing to talk to you. And at any time that I say, no, I don't want to answer that, you can either move on to the next question, or you can go ahead and you can book me and put me in jail. And he goes, that's fair. I said, good, let's go. And he goes, are you the father of... I said, you already know I am. Because if you guys arrested the wrong guy, you're in a world of shit. You know who I am.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he chuckles, right? So I'm building a relationship and rapport with this guy. And I'm not being a dick, but I'm just like, dude, come on, let's get to it. And he's like, all right. And that's what I said. I said, come on, let's just get to this. What do you need to know? And he goes, have you abused or put your hands on your children anytime in the last, whatever. And I said, yes. He goes, which part? And I said, well, you asked if I put my hands, and yes, I hug them every night. I love them. I take care of them when they have a skin knee or whatever. And if they need discipline, they receive that too. He goes, discipline, define that. I said, well, in the accordance of Virginia state code and law, that I have the ability in the Commonwealth of Virginia to discipline my child with an open hand. I am not allowed to punch, to hit, to throw, to toss, to maim, to break, but I am allowed to use a belt with discretion. And I have used a belt 2 occasions here and 3 occasions here. He's like, okay, can you explain to me the time that you took your son and had him stripped naked in the middle of winter, go down your stairs and run in the snow and slide across ice and snow while naked? And then he came up to the top of the stairs and his face was close to the glass where there was a ring that he could see through, and the rest was frosted, and frozen teardrops were on his face, begging to come in, and you wouldn't let him. And I said, Detective, I don't mean to be a smartass, but do you understand the freeze point of tears and saline because of the overall salt mixture that's built in the tears and what the freeze point is of that? And did you check the time and date of those years to see if we were -15, or did you look at that? And he goes, it sounded a little far-fetched when I read it. I said, yeah. He's like, would you like to know what happened? He goes, sure. I said, my son had left his snow gear out multiple times, then brought it into the house and set it on the wooden hardwood floors and warped multiple boards multiple times. And we told him he couldn't do it. So I then asked him where his boots were. He goes, well, they're downstairs. And I said, great. And he had already stripped down to his underwear because he's about ready to go run upstairs and get in a shower and sit by the fire to get warm because they've been out playing all day. I said, where are your boots, bro? He's like, they're downstairs. I said, go get them. And he goes, I'm going to put clothes on. I said, no, you're not. Go run in there in your skivvies, run downstairs, grab them, and come on back. It'll teach you a lesson because it's freaking cold out there. So he does it. And then he comes back, and Olivia's there with a warm blanket that was out of the dryer because she's mom. And he walks in, and she wraps him up. They sit by the fire, and then they go ahead and do their thing. And these stories that I'm hearing are just the most insane that no adult would believe, that we are putting up surveillance drones, marking our kids as they walk and go anywhere, and these drones record their conversations. That I had 78 guns in the house, and I am a United States Navy SEAL who worked for DevGru and killed people for a living, and I have 30 guns on each level. I mean, the shit that these kids said.
My God.
And by the time the detective got through, he's about 30 minutes into this investigation, and I'm just blowing holes, like everything he says. And I said, this is the part in the investigation that 1 of 2 things happen. And he's like, wow me. I said, you're either going to say this guy's got an answer for everything and he's guilty as hell, or 2, holy shit, this is a dad and there's been a mistake made. And he goes, number 2, stands up. Says, he goes, you stand up, uncuffs me, takes the cuffs, and he goes, puts his arm around me and goes, you're just a father. And I don't believe what's happening here is accurate.
Holy crap.
So the detective goes and says, we're going to go to the magistrate. You're going to sit in front of him, and I'm going to tell him that you're going home tonight, and you're going to go home and you're going to go to your house. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to move this down, and you are going to have to go to court, but you are not a threat. You are not a flight risk. We're getting you out of here. The desk sergeant says the same thing. The booking sergeant, who is Force Recon Marine, him and I are sitting here talking about Okinawa and what ships we've been on and having a great old time, says, oh my God, I think I've seen your podcast. And we're having a blast. And everyone's having a conversation. I sit down with the magistrate, and he's like, Mr. Spear, is it true you worked at Apple? Like, yes. He's like, okay. You worked at NBC Comcast? Yes. Okay. Naval and Mr. Spear, what are you doing sitting in front of me, and what did you do? And the detective says, well, we have some discipline, and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, what's the charge? And they go, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And he's like, what are they accusing him of? Of hitting and abusing his kids. And he's like, that's assault and battery. Why is he being charged with contributing to delinquency to the minor? And then the magistrate says, sounds like someone wanted to get him arrested without having any serious charges.
Right.
And he goes,
right.
Mr. Spear, you're released. And good luck, detective, good luck to you. Hands it. I get up, and they're like, do you want us to drive you home? I'm like, no, I'll call my wife. So I do. And I go outside, and then this happens. I know it's a long story, but it's really good at the end. Wait.
Yeah. So I asked him, I said, I was supposed to sign this. And he goes, did they give you a copy? I was like, no. And he's like, well, the magistrate says I can go home. Okay. So we come home. We have an amazing conversation with the kids, tears, hugs, everything all around.
He wants to come on.
He wants to come on.
He knows the story.
And and everything's great. And Matt walks the kids to the bus stop in the morning, and I took the day off work, and everything's fine. Well, Ethan's bus is supposed to come. He's supposed to get off the bus, and I'm like,
no. You missed something.
What did I miss?
So I call her, and I'm like, hey, you got to come get me.
Oh yeah.
They've already let me go. She's like, they let you go. The CPS said you were going to be in jail. And I said, no, they let me go. And she goes, why did they let you go? I said, because I didn't do the things, Liv. And she's like, well, yeah, I know that, but how did you convince them? And I said, I told the truth. And I go, you got to come get me. She goes, oh, I can't come get you. They said you can't stay here. I said, sweetheart, I have talked to the lead detective, the lieutenant. I've talked to the desk sergeant. I've talked to the booking sergeant. And I have the frickin' magistrate judge who just said I can go home. And it says so on my writ. So come and get me if you can. She goes, fine, I'll be right there. So then she picks me up, and we go home. Okay? Mm-hmm. And we get the kids. And we sit them down. Ethan, do you remember this?
Yes.
And what did that conversation go like?
I don't remember. I just remember like bits and pieces. I know the conversation. I know extremely well what happened the day after the conversation, which Mom was getting to. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I'm sorry, guys. This is interesting. So at that point, we have a conversation. I look at him and go, I love you both. You're not in trouble. The first thing is I raise my voice, and I've got problems as every dad does. And there's been a lot of stress through COVID, and your mom and I need to do better, and we fight too often. And I'm sorry. And I love you both, and you're not in trouble. I need to know where this bullshit manifesto came from. And I need to know why. And I need you to trust your father. And then it came out. All of it. And then we started reading text messages. You'll be in our arms soon, my little angels. You'll have parents who actually love you. We'll save you. We hear you. We feel you. And we're texting my daughter these promises. We'll go to Disneyland every weekend. You'll have everything you want. You can stay up as late as you want. Just these lies. And I'm reading this stuff going, holy crap. So at that point, after about 2.5 hours of hugging and crying and getting back to a place where we all trusted each other a little bit, would you say it's fair, E? Or,
yeah.
Okay. We decided to call the aunt and uncle. And they say, hello. And we're like, hello. And I'm like, how are you guys? And they're like, oh, we're good. How are you? And how's everything? And I'm like, oh, it's, I'm just calling to find out why in the you're trying to steal my family and break me apart and put me in jail as you people cut the cord for my son's life because that woman over there in your house wasn't able to have kids and I let her back into our lives knowing she was a danger and you manipulated everyone in my family for 11 years and I want to know why the guy was arrested today. And you hear a black veil and she goes, oh, you were arrested. And you hear this darkness and there's no love. It is pure unadulterated hate. It was like looking at Charles Manson. And then her husband comes in who has been someone who I've idolized. And he goes, if you ever touch your daughter again, I'll cut your effing throat. And I'm like, you're a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. You were just supposed to be this mom. And I'm like, these people effing hate me. And we start talking. And they are just screaming at us and insults back and forth. And I said, you need to talk to these kids because what you're saying, they're not saying. And we got on a speakerphone and the kids put them in corners and started saying all this stuff. Then, the end of the day, they go to bed. We hug them and kiss. And that morning, I walk them both to the bus stop. We hold hands and we are in a path of healing. And you could feel it. Like the family knew what they did wrong, what I did wrong, what Olivia did wrong, and we're in a good spot. Now, pick up this.
So Ethan's our bus stop is right outside our house, so I can just watch from the front door when they get off the bus. And he doesn't get off his bus. And I'm like, and he's missed it a couple times where I've had to go pick him up because he missed getting on the bus. So I call the office and I'm like, Ethan didn't get on his bus.
He's like 2 times.
2 times.
And I call the office and I'm like, yeah, Ethan didn't get on his bus. Did he miss it? Is he there? And she goes, hold on. You need to talk to the principal.
That same
Just
evil tone.
like that. And
that
I'm
same
like,
evil tone that they had. Now the teachers and the principals are like this. And I'm like, Olivia, this is big. This is bad.
He gets on the phone and he tells me that CPS came and took him down to the CPS office. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yes. I was like, they can't do that. Yes, they can.
They had called me an hour before and they said, we need you to come. Now I had already hired my lawyer and he's a guy named Bain. He's amazing. He's a Marine. And he goes, listen, you are not to talk to CPS. You are telling them to call my office and you're willing to help. You want to, whatever, but don't go down there without me. So they call me and they're like, Mr. Spear, we need to speak with you. And I said, listen, and I record now. I'm doing intel. Like I'm recording everything. I'm doing background checks on people. I mean, I am literally calling contacts in DC and friends I haven't spoken to in years. And I'm like, I need to know everything about this person. I mean, it's literally like counterintelligence. And I'm like, these people don't know who they're fucking with. And so at that point they go, well, you need to come down here. I said, well, my lawyer, here's his number. And they said, well, Mr. Spirit, even after we talked to your lawyer, we need to talk to you now. And I said, listen, I understand, but you've already had me arrested and I'm just protecting my rights. And my rights is that I can have legal representation when we speak. And I am exercising my right. I'm willing to cooperate and I'm recording this. And they're like, fine, we'll call your lawyer, Mr. Spare. Have a nice day. And I said, thank you. Have a nice day too. Let me know. We'll talk as soon as we can. Just get a hold of my lawyer. Then they went and took the kids.
Took Hayden in the middle of a test.
I have a POV, so when you're done,
Go ahead and give your
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was Mr. Lawson's 4th grade class. I think we were also doing a test. I get called down to the office like 20 minutes before school gets out. So I'm just like, I'm happy. I'm like, Mom's gonna pick me up, yippee. And I get in and I see some random lady I've never seen in my life. And she's like, hey, buddy, come with me. And at first, stranger danger, something. But in my little 8-year-old brain, I'm just like, I just want to get out of school, sure. Because at the time, 4th grade was like, no school. School bad. That was my brain. So I left. We go to Hayden's school. We pick her up and takes 5 minutes. She comes down. She's a little bit suspicious because she's always been so much mature than
At
her
that
actual
point,
age.
she's saying, oh, I think I made a mistake. That's what she told me. Like, whoops, this got way big too fast. I didn't want this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, E.
So we go to the CPS office. We're in this like little room. There's toys for like 5-year-olds. And then Hayden just brings out a computer. We watch YouTube for like 2 hours, and then Mom comes in. No, actually, a CPS.
I gotta catch you up. Hold on. So at this point, I call and I'm like, my name is Matthew Spare. I had just talked to somebody from CPS. You guys are supposed to contact my lawyer. You've taken my children. My wife is on the floor in a fetal position, crying. What do you need me to do? And I'll do whatever you ask. If you need me to sign that I'm guilty, I'll do it. If you need me to, whatever you tell me to do, I'll do. Whatever you want me to do, you'll do. But you have to give my children back to my wife. She's not going to make it through this. You have to give her her babies. And I'll take whatever punishment. You guys can throw me in prison. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. And this woman goes, Mr. Spear, we told you can't come back to that house. I said, I have got a magistrate judge. I have got a lead detective. I've got the paperwork right here. Show me the thing you had my wife sign. It's like, well, we didn't leave a copy of it. Like, you expected a distraught woman whose husband was just pulled, whose kids are gone, to remember every iota of your terms and conditions that you forced her to sign without a lawyer? I'm like, ma'am, you guys are making a mistake, and this mistake is going to get you all fired.
And this was a Friday afternoon, so
I had 45 minutes to get the kids back.
yeah, if we wouldn't have been able to get them back, they would have gone to foster care for the weekend.
They were putting them in foster. Sorry, this is so long, but I'm telling you, it gets good.
No,
So
this is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
okay, so at this point, this is where Ethan goes, and I call, my lawyer gets on, he's like, and she goes, the lead CPS person goes down and goes, your client is pure evil incarnate. He is Satan. And Bane's like, really? He seems like a really nice guy. And I'm not sure why you're thinking this about my client. And she's like, well, you need to read the file. And Bane's like, we have. And I will tell you that everything in it has a semblance of truth, but it's still 95% fabricated lies. And if you would just talk to my client and see his wife and him, you will know you're making a tragic error. And she's like, I need to go call someone ahead. And he says, yeah, you probably should. Because what you're doing to my client is I am just literally racking up the dollar bills for my client.
Right.
Of how we are going to sue the living shit out of the state of Virginia and the Commonwealth. She goes, you know what? I better call somebody. He's like, yeah, you should. So then they call and they say, have your client come down and give his affidavit of what happened. And you can come and the wife, and we'll give the kids to Mrs. Spear. And I said, done, let's go, get in the car. And my lawyer comes up and he looks at me and he goes, Matt, you're one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. You could literally talk the moccasins and the walrus skin off of an Eskimo in the middle of February. And there is no doubt that you can walk in there and tear these people apart and asunder. But if you say one fucking word, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
Shut up, and don't talk. Go in with E. So, okay. So then this happens. Ethan, go ahead.
Okay, so Hayden and I are in this like little room, and right after that phone
Sit down.
And right after that phone call, the lead CPS person comes in, gets us in this another random room, and 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, we come back. We see Mom, Dad, the main CPS worker, and I think another CPS worker. And Mom breaks down when she sees us. Dad is standing there. I think he's still talking. He sees us. He like waves or something like that. He still talks, and then he gives us like a giant bear hug, basically.
Because they said to me, you, Mr. Spare, you're going to leave the premises for at least a week. You are not allowed in your own home. You cannot see or talk to the kids. And if you do, you'll go to jail for a year and all your visitation will be revoked. And I'm like, which one shall I pick? I mean, which one, I wonder?
Yeah.
So I say, fine, I agree, and I sign their paperwork.
Yeah,
Go
one
ahead.
of the other parts of the agreement is they had to have access to their aunt. They had to be able to talk to their aunt.
And had to keep their
and
phones.
their uncle at all times. And they had to be able to keep their phones because according to them, taking technology away from a 12-year-old and 9-year-old was child abuse. So I was abusing my children by grounding them from their phones. So I said, okay, I will agree to them being able to talk to their aunt as long as it's on speaker and I can hear, or if it's FaceTime, I can see. I will be in that room. And that was the agreement.
All right, so we're gonna put a bow on this.
Yes.
So I'm banned for a week.
Could you turn Hayden's headphones and mic on?
Yeah, Hayden, your headphones are now on. Listen, can you hear him?
No.
Test 1 2.
I cannot.
Oh, they're not unplugged.
You gotta plug them in.
Oh.
So while she figures out that she went to the school of Mandy. So
Oh my gosh.
Full circle.
Can you turn them down? They're
yes.
so loud.
So here's just put a bow. So I go and I fulfill the week. I'm away from my children. People on the podcast are seeing me. I'm literally at a horse's stable. There's a little bed and breakfast that I'm there. And I start working the angles. So I get in with the brother and sister and I start getting them to talk.
Because they lied to our face. Oh, we had nothing to do with it.
And I start getting them to admit things. And I start getting them to open up. And I get it all recorded. Then they didn't say I couldn't talk to my kids via FaceTime. And we have a full setup. So I bring them into the studio and I start depoing the kids. And I get it all in recording. And then I have them go ahead and talk to the brother and sister when they think nobody was there by video, and I have that recording. I go ahead and I write a 37-page rebuttal to a CPS case that was the largest the judge had ever seen, and he had a case where a person raped 27 children over a quarter of a century, and I had bigger files.
Wow.
Jesus God.
Dude, you can ask Kate. I mean, they used language like abuse. And she said, well,
They said that I was in love with my stuffed panda, which made me really mad. But because at the time I was like going through the phase where I was like insanely liberal and I was pansexual openly. It was a rough time. But what I didn't know was that pansexual doesn't just mean that you're into every gender and trans and everything like that. It means you're also into objects. And so I said that I had a stuffed panda and it's like a ginormous squishmallow. And I've had that thing since I was a baby. I love that thing. And I was talking about it and they wrote in the files that I was in love with it. Because I was talking about it,
and she used it as a comfort item, and there were things in there where she would say we were grounded, and they said punished. We were grounded, and they changed their words. They also said we got a spanking. You mean abused
or hit
and they changed the language. So this whole thing went okay. End of the story. I get back in the house. We work on it. I write this 37-page thing. The lawyer gets it, and he's like, oh, my God. He's like, dude, I love anal retentive people. And I give him everything. So we show up to the first hearing, and I'm standing up there, and the prosecutor, state's attorney's there. And he goes in there and goes, hi, state's attorney's name. And she's like, hi. And she goes, do you know who my client is? And she goes, oh, yes, we know him. And he goes, oh. Well, obviously you've watched his show. And she goes, yes, we've heard his opinions. And he's like, well, luckily that doesn't matter and have nothing to do with the case. We'll see it in there. So we go in there. I stand up. This judge does this. She's talking. She's like, Mr. Spear, you're charged with delinquency to a minor. Is that right? Okay. And puts her glasses back on and looks me up and down. And, I'm 6'4", I'm a big boy. And I'm in a suit and I'm to the nines, and she looks at me like, okay, this is an interesting abuser. And then she goes, you're being charged with delinquency to a minor. Why is he being charged with a delinquency to a minor when he supposedly beat children? Shouldn't this be domestic abuse? And the prosecuting attorney says, she stands up and she goes, yes, we understand that, but that was just a preliminary to get things started. And the judge goes, or a way to get things ended. And she goes, we'll extend this for 30 days. We'll see you guys back here. We come back in at this point. We've got all the proof that we need. We go to a doctor. They diagnose the kids with dermatography. We put it, Hayden had some marks on her butt, which was for her sitting at the end of a table for 30 minutes. And then they said in a picture that was abuse. We found out there was none of that. And it was completely just all fabricated and blown out of proportion. So I go up to the judge for the last time. They dismiss the case with full prejudice. And she looks and goes, this case is dismissed with full prejudice. $10,000 out of our pocket. Remember, we're still good with the brother and sister right now. And my father had just passed away recently. And they were holding the will money because they weren't going to give it to a bunch of child abusers, right? So okay. All right. I get in good with them. I get the check for $11,000 and then I tell them, go yourselves. You'll never see our kids again. Boom. And I hang up the phone, pays for the attorneys. Win.
Right.
Then I have to go through the FBI. I've got to have everything expunged. And the only thing left, and this is it, was the CPS keeps files for 3 years. And they were going to have on there that I was charged with assault. So there had to be a hearing for me to go, and I was ready. My lawyer said, I'm not even going. I'm not going to charge you $500 an hour because you're going to go in there and you're going to destroy these people. 30 minutes before the hearing, they go, Mr. Spear.
Let me get a phone call.
Get a phone call. Mr. Spear, hi, this is Child Protective Service. Blah, blah. I said, hi, how are you? Oh, they sent someone in our house. We had to have someone come in every week and sit with our family and talk to them.
I forgot this happened.
That was supposed to happen for almost a year. He left. He had one visit. And then he came and goes, you guys are some of the nicest people I've seen. He's like, I'm not coming back.
Which is, I think I dropped an F-bomb in front of him.
You did. And I looked at you and I said, Hayden, you're not helping daddy.
I dropped an F-bomb. I don't even remember what I was talking about. It was I think, because he brought us gifts. He brought us stuff. He brought us pajamas and Marvel stuff. And when he brought the Marvel stuff, I dropped an F-bomb because I'm so passionate about Marvel. And it came out. It was like I was talking to a friend.
And she's never used it before. Like ever. I swear to God. We don't let her do it. And I'm like, I looked at her and I said, Hayden, you're not helping daddy right now. You're supposed to be like good Christian. And this guy laughed and he's like, the way you handled that with your child, I don't need to be here. I go into places where people are doing heroin. I go into places where they're running sex shops for children. You guys are an amazing. So they did that. He left. He was supposed to be there for 9 months. He was there for 2 weeks, and then he did it. So at the hearing, I'm exonerated. Even the detective didn't show up to my case because the detective's like, I'm not going to go against this guy. He didn't do anything wrong. So the hearing, I'm on the phone with them, and they go, Mr. Spear, this is CPS. And I said, hi, I don't know who you are. I don't know your name. And she's like, yes, I'm the new interim superintendent. And I said, oh. Okay.
What happened to so-and-so?
I said, what happened to so-and-so? And they said, she's on indefinite leave. And I said, vacation? And she's like, no, she's on indefinite leave. I said, well, where's the secondary investigator? And she goes, she's no longer with the company. And I said, well, where's the interim who was at your job? And she goes, that person has also been put on an indefinite leave of absence. I said, you're telling me that there are approximately 3,000 employees that work for CPS for the state of Virginia. And I happen to have 4 of them on my one case, and all of them have been fired or released. I said, how bad did you guys fuck up?
Right.
And she goes, Mr. Spear, I first of all want to apologize in the state of Virginia and let you know that we are clearing. We do not need a hearing today, and all of your files are dropped and let go, and they will not be kept in any way, shape, or form. And we wanted to wish you, a happy whatever and good day. And I'm like, oh my God. So I call my lawyer. I'm like, dude, I want to sue him. He was like, if you sue him and you go after the cops and you go after CPS, you will not be able to cross the street without a parking ticket. He's like, I'm not suing him, Matt. Be happy you're out of here. Walk away. That's our story.
And that's when I called the sister and was like, you're never.
I have a story about the sister.
I was like, you're never speaking to them again because they're my children. You have no legal right to them. There's no case. Everything's been dropped. So you can't rely on CPS to get your way. You are out of our lives forever. And she threw an ungodly fit. What did I do? I didn't do anything.
And then she started stalking me. Like insane. So the summer after The summer after CPS happened.
You do have to make this quick because we've been talking for 45 minutes and these folks literally are having to sit here and listen to this. So,
I will be done in 2.5 minutes.
We're just trying to pitch a documentary to you guys.
yeah. By the way, do you guys want to do a documentary? Just wondering.
It would be amazing. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Or you
wrap
went
it up.
through all this.
Yeah.
God.
So at
ahead,
this time, I kind of like still secretly hated my parents and still believed that like all of this stuff was true and all this, because I was a child and I had a wild mind. And so I reached out through Snapchat to my aunt on a fake account, and we started talking. And then that summer, my phone broke, and so I had to get a new phone, and I downloaded Snapchat on that new phone, but it was also my dad's phone for the show. And
that was on purpose, by the way.
And he needed the phone. And so I quickly like deleted all the apps, and he was like, why is it taking so long to go grab the phone? And so he looked through it and he saw that I was talking to Kelly through Snapchat, and that was a whole thing. And I ended up completely losing contact with her. I think about a year and a half later, I was like, yeah, she's actually insane. I don't know why I ever talked to her. And then she started like stalking me. She would daily, I would get new notifications from my Instagram because I have a very open Instagram. And I would get notifications on my stories like so-and-so liked your story. And I was like, I don't know that person.
Get to the end point.
Eventually, she friend requested on Instagram my best friend. Through her main account, she started stalking my best friend.
Who's like 13 years old.
Yeah, we were, it was my 15th birthday. It was on my 15th birthday when she did this. She started stalking my best friend. My best friend reaches out to me like, who is this person and why are they stalking me? And I'm like, that's my aunt. Hold on. So I get on the phone and I call her.
Okay, we got to stop.
Oh, okay.
She gave her a piece of her mind, and this child is my daughter. She has the gift of the gab.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I'm just waiting until her birthday this year when she tries to stalk her again.
Okay.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
So the reason why we told you this story is because we understand what's happening in America, and we knew what this was. This was reciprocity for me going up against the schools, and they wanted to make a statement. And this was all during the Joe Biden thing, calling parents domestic terrorists, all of this. So we know what this was about. Anyway, I can't thank you guys enough for listening to all of that. And I kind of am a little embarrassed that it got that far.
I didn't think it was going to take that long to go through.
Ahead.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to
bring it up.
Let them talk.
It's open up, you know? I mean, God. I'm sorry you went through all
That's
that,
crazy.
you know?
That's crazy. I'm just glad it panned out like in your favor. But to put you guys through all of that is like, it's insane. It's insane.
I mean, honestly, that detective was cool, man. I mean, I'm shocked that a detective did that because you know how those guys are, man. They dig in and they're, you know, I'm right. That's it. You know, no matter what you say, they're right. So, I mean,
well,
you know,
he just saw enough inconsistencies and childlike, like he knew that there was language in the reports and the kids were saying that they're like, this is not, and he must have worked with CPS before and knew about the allegations of them doing this. Whatever it was, whatever I said to him, he was convinced enough because I'm not afraid to have a conversation with people and I'm not ashamed of anything I did. I said, the only thing I'm going to apologize for is that I get loud sometimes and I get real angry when I shouldn't and I snap, and that's from irritability and losing 2 jobs in COVID, and it's my own fault and I need to work on it. And when I said that, I think this guy realized, wow, he's pretty self-aware. But anyway, so Marxism in America and drama at the Spear household, 2 shows tonight. And I wanted to say thank you guys for sitting here and at least sharing it with us. And you didn't, you didn't even ask, but we're going to make it happen. And we said thank you.
I have to go.
Go
I
ahead.
have so much homework.
So
thank you.
Final word on Marxism. You guys go ahead. Final word. You guys got it. Go ahead.
Oh, about Marxism? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary what's happening in our country right now. You know, the indoctrination and the separation of the families. I mean, you know, and that's the thing is they want to separate the child from the parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just they want to destroy the nuclear family. And, you know, and I guess kind of seeing what you guys just shared with us, it's happening. I mean,
and it's not just from the top, but it's like what you guys went through with family members.
Yeah.
You know, I have similar things going on in my family, you know, and it's like, it's really awful how brainwashed people are. And you know what else? What struck me about your daughter's story, that whole pan thing, that's another way that they are trying to, they have the language and what they're getting these kids to believe that they have, you know, all these different genders and all these different sexualities. And so when your daughter said that, I just like, oh, it's this whole, you know, Gen Z that was like a big, huge thing with the pan, you know.
Well, the fact that you're going, go ahead.
I mean, it's just all indoctrination. That's all, you know, and they have an agenda, you know, it's trust the state, trust the government. Don't trust your parents, you know, you'll be good little, you know, worker bees for us in the system, you know.
Exactly.
It's scary.
Yeah, if you have conservative views, forget about it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm assuming your sister leans different politically, right?
Yeah, she thinks George Bush was the greatest president ever to live.
But she thinks Donald Trump is Satan incarnate.
Yeah, so she pretends she's a conservative, but she's like, she's just, I don't, it comes down to this. I had to explain Terminator to her when I was 8 years old. So, like, and she's like, I don't get it. And I'm like, let's start over. And she's like, yeah, I don't get it. And I said, okay, at this point I can say it again, but I can't understand it for you. You know, you're done. And she's like, she's 4 years older than me. And she's just like, why did the robot go back and try to kill? I don't understand. And I'm just like, okay.
Okay.
Because he's not very nice. He's a cyborg. Okay. Just moving it. You know, human skin with an exoskeleton, whatever. Just, you're good. So we, you know, I don't feel too bad because I know we had gone into your life and what you guys kind of went through with your own family, Mandy, and you had a chance to tell us that. Ours was a lot longer, but I do appreciate that when you guys come on, there's more of a human element. How can people support you? How can they watch your documentaries? I know you said it before, but I would love for you to be able to tell everyone again.
Sure. They can, first of all, they can watch it on regular Newsmax, Newsmax 2. They play our docs all the time. They would just have to go to the guide and see when they're playing. But the easiest way would be to go to the Newsmax Plus app. If you have it on Roku, you know, on your phone, all of our docs are on there. The Newsfront series is on there. They can binge the entire series. They can watch all 6 of our other docs that are on that we've done with Newsmax. So yeah, that'd be the best way for anyone to watch all of our work.
What are you guys working on now? Last thing, what are you working on?
Yeah, no worries. We actually just premiered our latest doc, which is called The Nuclear Weapons Gap. And that details the gap right now between the United States with Russia and China combined. That within the next 10 years, Russia and China combined will have twice as many strategic nuclear weapons as we do. And beyond that, our nukes are aging, we need to modernize, and we're also dealing with rogue nations like North Korea and Iran. So that was the latest one that just premiered last week.
How good is that?
It's pretty good. You would love it, man.
You got to get me, yeah, because that's my wheelhouse. So you get me, listen, I'll pay for it. I don't care, whatever I can do to support you guys. But
go to the app. Go to the app. You can check it out. Yeah.
It sounds amazing. It sounds great. Yeah. You guys, we love you guys. We will love it when you're on. You guys are always fun guests, and we kind of
come back anytime.
Treat you like family, and we promise the next time we won't make it this long next time. Okay.
That's fine. Thanks for sharing all that. I mean, yeah. Sorry you went through all that. You know, it's horrible.
Made us a stronger family, I think.
Oh yeah, like we're like this, and you know what? We have to grow, and parents don't get a handbook. There's no magical recipe. We have to figure it out on our own, and sometimes we make mistakes. But yeah, it's parents just need to be careful. The schools are not your friends, and they're not. They're against you
now. Yeah, not now. Didn't used to be that way. And yes, this would make an amazing documentary.
Mm-hmm.
What a crazy story. Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know if we can say it again. I mean, that's a lot of, I'm feeling a little, I don't know if I can ever tell that story again. We just did it for an hour. All right. Listen, we're going to let you two go. It's 9:30. It's way too long. We appreciate you both. We love you guys. And we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
See you
Love
guys.
appreciate
Bye.
you.
You got it.
Bye.
Two of the greatest damn people that we have come in contact with. They are just amazing. And
oh, we look really big now because we've been small.
That's because
Thank you, Mike. I haven't checked the mailbox in like a week, so we got 2 today. So
double it up.
It's because of the weather and being sick, and but I haven't had a chance. And also one other thing.
This is great.
Kimberly Juggermeyer, I got this in the mail today. This is a 1,000-piece puzzle. This is the super cool. I'm so excited to put this together with Ethan. Ethan was just telling me, hey, I want to start putting together puzzles. Here we go.
Your wish is granted.
Yes.
So, Kimberly, thank you for the puzzle. We're very excited for it. Listen, I thank you guys for letting us tell that story. I don't think we had a chance to do that and share it in with just another guest watching. And I know some of you heard it. Some people, that's like your third time.
Been a long time.
But here's how you know people are full of shit or not. Compare the stories. Go back and listen to them and find if there's any variance in the details. That's the one thing about liars. If you want to find out when someone's lying, listen to multiple versions of how they recall their story. And you will always find inconsistencies. You won't find any in ours because we're always honest. We're aware. Olivia wasn't the nicest person. We were being horrible to each other. It was probably the toughest time in our relationship. We just COVID just tore us apart, and we were so on the verge, but our love kept us together. There's times we left the house with a suitcase and then we came back. She left the house with a suitcase. I left the house and we got to the block and we turned around and came home because the love that we had for each other and the love that we have for our family, it survived. Plus I'd beat the shit out of her if she left, you know?
I gotta go to the bathroom so bad.
Chucky Peterson, listen, I'll send him home. Say goodnight, baby.
Love you guys tonight. I will see you guys on Friday.
Chuck Peterson donates 75. Thanks, you guys. Great show. Hey, it's awesome to hit goal. Listen, I wanted to say thank you guys for listening to it. The one thing that we try to do besides hack our lungs up here is to share our lives. And we've always been open with you guys. We've always been honest with you guys. We try to, give you the best that we can. If you haven't had a chance, do me a favor. Just did this meme. And I think it's going pretty well over on Facebook. And it basically is a George Floyd and the Chief Warrant 5 over in the Army, the helicopter pilot, saying their hero and basically ours. It's over there, and you guys can give it a like. Go over and pick up some coffee, some hats, whatever. Tomorrow night, it'll be Leroy and I together. We'll be on there. Friday, we'll have no jacket giveaway. It's Red Friday. We will also be together. You got it, JD. And then we have got a shit ton of interviews. Just stay tuned. We've got a lot of people coming. Jessica Lynch is coming. We have a Senate candidate from Michigan, Wisconsin. God, where's he from? I don't know. He's up there. And then we've got a Virginia candidate here. We have 2 people from J6 who fled the FBI for 3 years who are going to come on and talk to us. We have just got a crap ton of interviews lined up. So hang tight, stick with us. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. We love you. God bless you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you then. Have a good one.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.